To the left of screen. Interchange. Blumfield, Lucas, Calthorpe for Essendon. Ackermanis and McLean. And Leppitsch for the Bears. It's Calthorpe. You saw Berbakoff a moment ago running off. Final series underway. Second qualifying final. Essendon kicked to the right of screen after O'Donnell won the toss. First tap to Clark, dropped it down in front. McRae, long kick towards goal. It's off target, but bouncing just inside, so fair result for the Bears. And a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket, Craig McRae, who slipped over in the shower last week and cut his foot and couldn't play. His second season. I'm working with Ian Robertson tonight, who knows what finals football's all about, being a triple premiership player at Carlton. Wanganeen cut off by McRae. What a start. Might have kicked it. He has. No, hit the post. Sorry. Looked a goal. So McRae with 2 touches inside the first minute, and Wanganeen having his handball cut off. So the Bears settling very early. Shot from behind the goal that Essendon is defending this evening. O'Donnell to do the kicking in.
It's an interesting look at the kick-in situations. Essentially, the Bears are just manning up their direct Essendon opponents, as we can see from this shot behind the goals.
O'Donnell short and finds his man, and away goes Barry Young. Gives it off.
Yes, Young, who had an eye injury towards the end of the game last week against Footscray. His kick goes back towards the centre. That's probably an indication of the nerve showing for the Bears. 2 players clashing. Lambert's kick to half forward. They're on their own. McRae drops the mark. The handball comes clear to Fletcher. Fletcher is too far out to score. Mark taken for Essendon on their full back line by Hardwick. Well, he's gone to ground and just looking a little dazed there. It was a good mark in the finish by Damien Hardwick. Gives the hand pass away. Running across the goal square is Mercury, just looking a little undecided, then goes short, and that's all right. O'Donnell is marked. He's still inside the defensive 50-metre area, and he's being called to play on now. Short kick is okay. Mark is taken by Mercury. Tristan Lynch, number 42 for the Bears. So players still finding each other out early in the game. Olorenshaw is marked. Ashcroft looks as though he may be his man at this stage of the game anyway. Kick towards Alessio, couldn't take it. Fletcher again, second possession already. Kick forward by Lappin. Lappin's kick should be marked. Oh, it's dropped there by Olorenshaw. The ball's still there for the Bears. Hart, he knocks it forward. It's still inside the field of play. Back goes Barnard, and he's quite prepared to just take it over as Merritt just calls on the action to present himself. Boundary throw in about 30 metres around from the Bears' goal.
Kennedy starting on Hurd. Hurd playing a full forward Lee early. It's a boundary throw in deep in Brisbane's attack. Fletcher out of the air. Is it touched off the boot, or is it out of bounds on the full? It's out on the full, so another Brisbane
touch off the boot. The central umpire indicating there that
Fletcher.
The boundary umpire did declare, Bruce, that it was out on the full, but umpire Dennis Rich just telling him that it was touched.
Looked like it, didn't it? So boundary throw in. Left half forward for the Bears. Clark. Somerville at the back. Doolan at half-back. Little one towards the boundary line. Lloyd and Champion matching up. Boundary throw in right in front of our commentary position.
Yes, as you mentioned, James Hurd is basically playing full forward, virtually 1 out in the forward 50, a fairly unusual role.
Well, Gary O'Donnell, who won the toss, had no hesitation kicking to the main scoreboard end. Ashcroft kicks it forward, and McRae is in front of Hardwick, and he's taken the mark on his chest. He kicks in towards centre half forward. Fletcher, punch away. Wallace it was. The ball now spills for Dion Scott. Little handball. Look for Darryl White. Very athletic, but Harvey's there just to defend and taken over by Hardwick. And the boundary umpire will throw it in.
Very early in the game, McRae's pace has troubled Hardwick.
35 metres around from the Bears' goal. Fletcher and Scott, free kick. And it's going to the Bears, holding on. I'm blowed if I know. I quite wonder. You have another look here, and
oh yes, I think Dustin Fletcher grabbed hold of the left arm when he could see that he was being out positioned, but they are critical free kicks in the context of a football game, aren't they? Early in the game.
It could give these boys a bit of a boost, couldn't it, if he can kick this goal?
Absolutely. Because
they just look a little nervy. And Dion Scott has kicked the first goal of the final. 1-1 Brisbane, leading Essendon, yet to score.
Well, we mentioned it. We'll probably see a replay again, possibly, of that ruck, an infringement from just another angle. And I think we saw on the previous angle that the left arm of Scott was being held by Fletcher. So I think it was a correct umpiring decision. Good start for the Bears.
Bears by 7 points. Dion Scott with the opening goal in this final. Clark and Somerville. Clark drops it down. Fletcher. Hurd having a run in the centre. Doolan keeps his head low. Fletcher again. Voss, first time we've seen him, to Champion. Champion back to centre half forward. Merritt caught underneath it. Scott, Fletcher. Now McRae, very damaging. On his right foot, goes for goal. Just misses. But is there a free kick coming down here? And it's going to go to the Bears against Wallace, I think, to Lynch, who's just going to let him know about it for hanging on. So Essendon, this is a very bad start for them now if Lynch can kick this. See the angle, good shot of it. Not particularly difficult. You could imagine Lynch just running around a little to improve it, though Wanganeen is so close. He's just out of our shot at the moment, but he is very close. Lynch in his 150th game, his first final tonight, at 28 years of age, kicks the goal. Well, Lee, if you were the coach right now, you'd be pretty disappointed. 2 free kicks, 2 goals.
Well, absolutely, and Hardwick is being interchanged now for Calthorpe. Yeah, McRae's just too quick for Hardwick. Has been good. Very bad free kick. I mean, the ball was going through at a very high angle. There was no need for any contact at all between Wallace and Lynch. So, really, 2 goals to the Bears from 2 free kicks. It's those kind of unnecessary free kicks that end up costing the game. And now the home crowd get involved in the game with the Bears starting so well.
Peter Somerville and Matthew Clark to contest this centre bounce. Probably favours Somerville just ever so slightly. Kicked a little bit out of it by Denham. Struggle now, but Fletcher has been quite magnificent. The hand pass to Voss. Voss's kick. Dion Scott. Handball over the top. Sits nicely for Hart. Back to Scott. Scott's kick towards full forward. Out in front is Lynch. You'll get another one. Lynch, 2 goals in a minute. Of course, that's Alistair Lynch. We have Tristan Lynch in this Bears side as well. Brisbane lead 3-1. Essendon yet to score.
Well, I saw the Bears played last week and they were horrible. But I tell you, this week it's a different game. It's a long time in football, 6 or 7 days. And the 3 players that didn't play last week, or 3 of them, Lambert, McRae and Scott, have all been in the action very early in the game. I mean, it's really an excellent start by Bears. And Hurd is on the ball, the standard move when Essendon are in trouble.
2 goals to Lynch, 1 to Dion Scott. So critical now for Essendon. They trail by 19 points. Voss to Gowers. Gowers long, penetrating again to full forward. Barnard back there, I should say. Ola Renshaw looking for the boundary line, gets it. But they're under great attack now, this Essendon defence. Ola Renshaw, Brian Wood out to talk to him. Now the National Sportsbook odds 11-8 on Brisbane and evens Essendon, so this will be the closest betting game of the weekend. Front spot Clark, taken by White. Handball very good. Dion Scott 50 metres out. Long kick, won't be a goal. Lynch has got it again. Well, he is turning Wallace inside out. This is a major concern now for the Bomber defender in hierarchy.
Just good body use, wasn't it? The ball was kicked in long by Scott, and Wallace was in the front position. He was okay in that department, but once the ball went over his head, Lynch just held him under the ball, put the 2 hands up, grabbed it quite easily.
He's kicked 3 goals in his last 4 going into the final series, so he's had a little drought for him. He's about to kick his 3rd goal, perhaps, in the first half a dozen minutes of this final, though that is not a good attempt. He just kicked it too high and much too far. So a let off.
Well, 10 minutes of the game and the Essendon haven't been forward of the centre square.
They've had 27 possessions, Brisbane already, only 9 to Essendon.
And Kevin Sheedy, with that centre square that you set up before the game, Lee, has worked with Clark and the midfielders being able to work off him so far. Still early days. O'Donnell from the back pocket.
I reiterate that Gary O'Donnell won the toss and had no hesitation going to the main scoreboard end. There is a little bit of breeze blowing, but it's really inconsequential. O'Donnell has marked the ball, having kicked in, found Young. Young back to O'Donnell, and then he finds Harvey. So 4 possessions to Essendon, and they're still only 35, 40 metres away from their defending goal. Kicked away by Young, and Fletcher is marked on centre wing. He's perhaps behind the wing. Goes long, a good penetrating kick by Fletcher. And the mark has been taken by Chris Scott. Gee, there's plenty of cheers and flags and support for the Bears. The kick across the half-back line taken by Voss. One of the fancies for the 1996 Brownlow medalist, Michael Voss. The kick, Olorenshaw quite prepared to top it away. And he looks back. Umpire gives him the benefit of any doubt. Leppitsch, McLean on the bench for the Brisbane Bears. It's at right half forward for the Bears. Right in front of the players' races here at the Gabba. Kicked inside 50. Underneath it there, Wanganeen. Hart applies the pressure. Fletcher again, another effective hand pass out into the path of Hart. Lynch can't get back, and it's helped over. There's a free kick to Essendon on this occasion, and it will go maybe to Dean Wallace against perhaps Alistair Lynch. Wallace indicating that he's going to kick to the members, the Bears Social Club side of the ground. Craig McRae in the foreground. And no one really to kick to. Goes very short, extremely short. Gee, you wonder whether there's any percentages in that, because it's still only now 35 metres from the Bears' goal boundary throw in.
They're playing Russian roulette in that defensive 50 Essendon. They are chipping it around, trying to get it out.
Fletcher at the back. Quick kick by Hart. Buick's got it at centre half back. Quickly on, here's a chance for the Bombers. Harvey, if he gets the right bounce. Back inside, Doolan, good take through the centre. Now delivers the centre half forward. Nice looking kick, that's better. Somerville out in front of Dick Voss. So they're changing Alessio and Somerville onto Dick Voss. Goes to the pocket, very wide, wanting Lloyd. Champion belts it to the boundary line and out of play. So very wide there, Somerville, not attacking the goal front at all.
There was just no one there making a reasonable lead for him to kick it to.
3-1 Brisbane. Just joined us, Lynch a couple. Dion Scott kicked the first. Lynch had a shot from the pocket and missed everything a moment ago. Somerville taps it out. O'Donnell, well played. And the captain has kicked the captain's goal. Good effort by O'Donnell against the tide, so the Bombers go forward and score. It's 3-1 to a goal.
Well, you've got to say that's percentage forward play. We're at the 13-minute mark of the first quarter. That was the first time Essendon have been in their forward 50 and they've scored a goal from it, and what a critical one it was. And O'Donnell, the captain, we talk about captain's goals, have never been more worthy of that title and that goal against the flow of play to get the Essendon scoreboard ticking over.
Back in the centre, another very good bounce of the ball. Taken away from Wanganeen by Fletcher. He's been quite fantastic early in the game, and that pass is a beauty onto the chest of Alistair Lynch. Fletcher has had 6 possessions for the Brisbane Bears. Lynch going for goal number 3. Not even up to the halfway mark yet of the first term. Alistair Lynch, 150 games. The kick across the face. He does score just a behind. Plenty of support for Brisbane. Well, you'd expect that, wouldn't you? Their first home final, and deservedly so. They've played very, very well for the last couple of years. It's all happened for Brisbane since moving from Carrara to the Gabba. Short kick in, been well marked there by Calthorpe. and looking to run on. Brian Sheen obviously had blown time on. That does not allow David Kelthorpe to play on, so he's got to go back and kick over the man on the mark.
Playing so short at the back, aren't they, the Bombers? And that one they got away with. Calthorpe running away and then coming wide. One-on-one situation. Clark, now Fletcher could kick a goal from here. Hooks. So Brisbane are letting the Bombers off the hook here. 3-3 to a goal. 6 shots to 1. Lynch has had 4 shots for goal for 2 goals. 1 complete miss and a behind. And Fletcher, that one was gettable, but a strange choice again by Calthorpe.
They are really trying to chip the ball out of defence. They've got no confidence of any long targets to clear the 50-metre area, so it's going to test the skills in this part of the ground by Essendon.
Well, O'Donnell even shorter, this time to himself, and runs off Lynch. A second bounce, in trouble. Oh, that was hard by Merritt.
Certainly a high tackle. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Looked like Gary O'Donnell saw Roger Merritt coming, but couldn't quite avoid it completely.
It's a fantastic player, O'Donnell. He'll shake it off and now gets a little back by running away from Merritt. Takes another bounce and another bump as he kicks to centre wing. Mark taken by Scott, who started well. Dion Scott to Lambert. Lambert inside. Gowers got a reasonable bounce, just held up. Buick plays it in front, free kick.
Gee, Gowers was stiff. He didn't get one.
Buick from centre wing as well as Buick.
No, well, you saw the jumper of Buick, didn't you?
No one plays for a free kick better than Darren Buick.
Such a cheeky footballer and so successful over a long period of time. O'Donnell.
Good kick.
Yeah, beauty. Should have been marked.
Tackle.
And didn't get the possession, James Hurt, but that's the first time he's actually touched the ball in the first 16 minutes of the game. We don't see that very often in Essendon games.
Hurt himself, Craig Lambert, in effecting that tackle on Mark McCurry, and the umpire bounces about 55 to 60 metres from the Essendon goal. Taken away by Tristan Lynch. He's kicked towards half forward. Punched away there by Fletcher. Gathered by Darryl White to Dion Scott. In turn, Adrian Fletcher. The kick may have been touched off the boot. McRae gets his left foot to it. Kicks it towards full forward. It bounces away from Barnard back there. And he hurries it over for a rush behind to Brisbane. So,
Alistair Lynch off the ground, interchanged. Maybe it's just to give him a few minutes breather or something. It doesn't look injured.
I think...
Well, we've known he's had this fatigue syndrome for a few years, and he's not completely through it, so I think it maybe is just to give him a spell.
He did pull up a little awkwardly after getting a free kick where he kicked a goal.
Harvey's kick good, out wide, finds Doolan some space. Doolan going forward. Target Hurd, playing it in front, handball back to Doolan, didn't get to him. Gowers over the top, bounce half forward, Champion at it for a moment. With Doolan, they'll be okay. So the Bears 3-4, Essendon a goal. Fletcher and O'Donnell running together. O'Donnell's had 9 possessions and Fletcher 8. So they've been key players early. Trying to crash through his Hurd. Doolan, high tackle. Essendon playing the percentages here. They've only been to attack really strongly on 1 occasion and scored. And Brisbane's had so much of the footy, yet only leads by 16 points. Doolan goes to the pocket. Was looking, I think, for Lloyd, but Young was able to chip across in front of Voss and take the mark at about 52 metres. Somerville wants it long and high, and he's going to kick it right there. Somerville getting set, pushes. Dick Voss bounces it through. And it's a behind. Barry Young, good kick from a long way out. Somerville getting into Dick Voss's back, but no free kick. Here's Lappin from the back pocket.
So the Bears will just about go right the way down the ground here. Lappin's kick out wide, not clear by Hart. There's a free kick. It perhaps hasn't really advantaged Brisbane because Hart's tap on. They nearly were going to carry the ball forward. This is Shaun Hart for Brisbane, one of their very good players this year. Kick to half forward, Harvey, punched also by Lambert. Gathered by O'Donnell, not quite, and he disguised that very well. The Essendon captain takes it over for a boundary throw-in. Absolutely beautiful night for a game of football. Some statistics there of the respective coaches, John Northey and Kevin Sheedy.
Essendon have to be pleased with this last 10 minutes. I mean, the way the Bears jumped out of the blocks, they've stabilised the game the last piece of the play, and they've just gradually got to wind the Bears in.
Yes, the third occasion these two coaches have clashed in a final series. They played together in a premiership at Richmond. Good handball by Gowers. Fletcher, handball out wide. Dion Scott, left-hand handball to Lambert. He'll try and turn his man around on his left foot, but cut off by Olorenshaw.
Didn't go far enough.
So it'll be a bounce. Ashcroft onto him. Gavin just having a word to Ricky Olorenshaw, who just put the footy in Marcus Ashcroft's face for a moment. Wasn't much in it. Scott tries to lay it down at the back. Here's Ashcroft. Left foot. Doesn't go all that far. Buick playing at the back. Trying to cut it off. Here's Chris Scott. Handball terrific. Hart under pressure. Kicks the ball out on the full. Is it coming back here? Hart. Wanganeen. And Wanganeen to take the kick. So Essendon, as Lee said, hanging on pretty well here. They're 1-1, Brisbane 3-4. Wanganeen had a very good year. Brownlow medalist. Good fly at the back by Shea Cockatoo Collins. Clark gives it up. Alessio, handball back. Couldn't quite find his target. Buick tries to weave his way through. Gets it to Denham.
Very well done there by Darren Buick. Denham's kick, that's a free kick surely. And it will come back because there's no advantage there for the Bombers. Cockatoo Collins about to be run down by Dion Scott, but the ball coming back to Matthew Lloyd, and he'll kick from behind the centre. He gets good penetration with the kick. It'll land close to half forward, punched away from Hurd. The crumbs are gathered by Chris Scott. His hand pass, Tristan Lynch, and he gets through some just congestion there quite easily in the finish. His kick lands close to the centre. Alessio is hard. Denham, handball, McRae, kicked at Essendon's way, and a scramble for possession. It's McRae. Oh, he just absolutely tricked Wanganeen then, and the kick is marked by Gowers. Now, Andrew Gowers is a very good kick of the footy. He certainly will score.
And that's McRae's sixth kick, and he has such a penetrating kick, both with distance and accuracy. When he's getting a bit of the ball, McRae gives a tremendous positive drive.
Gowers from 50 metres. Gets onto it, gets the distance, but not the accuracy. So the Bears now have had 8 shots at goal. They lead 3-5 to 1-1. Alistair Lynch has kicked 2, and Dion Scott kicked the first goal of the game.
O'Donnell again doing the kicking in. He's the goal scorer for the Bombers. Denham provides a short lead. Now Brian Sheehan asking O'Donnell to go. Comes wide, looks for Young. Gee, they're taking some chances at the back. Taken by White, clever, short to Merritt. And they're playing such a dangerous game with these kickouts, and even field kicking in defence. At best about a 55-45 in their advantage. Just, it's got to be turned over, and again it has been. White clever there.
Yeah, after that first kick in, the Bears have gone to his own defence, and Essendon really have been very shaky in their ability to maintain possession with that short kick in. And obviously with the turnover, there's so many Bears players free, and Merritt was the recipient of the kick.
Should go 35 metres out straight in front. He's got it. Sounds a bit strange, Lee, but I think they needed it. 4-5 to 1-1 with all the play they've had.
Well, they've had all the play. They've certainly been much further better in general play than they are ahead on the scoreboard. But in all reality, 3 of the goals have been by Essendon mistakes. That kicking error we saw there, once it didn't find the target, there's heaps of Bears players alone in their forward 50. That boundary throw-in free kick and the free kick on the goal line. So really some bad mistakes by Essendon have contributed to Bears goals.
So the bounce back at the centre. Oh, up sensationally high was Clark. Wanganeen gathers, kicks with the left foot, but the mark safely taken by Tristan Lynch. Probably an underrated player because he's got a little awkward kicking style. It lands at centre-half forward, brilliantly gathered by Chris Scott, couldn't break clear. Now Fletcher again. Gee, their midfielders are absolutely slaughtering Essendon. Chance here for Leppitsch. Merritt. Leppitsch still, grabbed by the leg. Gowers, snapshot by Andrew Gowers across the face of goal and bounces out for a boundary throw in left forward pocket for Brisbane.
He's like the jumping kangaroo, isn't he, Matthew Clark? He just goes straight up. He doesn't jump off his opponent. He just an upward jump.
Cockatoo Collins on the bench. 5 3/4 minutes left. It's all Brisbane in the first term. Dion Scott gets his left foot to it. Kicked away by Calthorpe. Harvey has to punch from behind. Really sets it up for these midfielders again, but it's the big ruckman, Matthew Clark. The kick was smothered off the boot. Olorenshaw to Barry Young.
Takes Ashcroft on, kicks very wide to centre wing. Lynch and McCurry. Tristan Lynch, McCurry with him, and out of play. He's done a good job, Lynch, in his rookie year. Played 2 senior rookies, really, with Dick Voss 25 years of age and Lynch 23. And interstate this year, the Bombers have struggled. The only draw was at the Sydney Cricket Ground earlier this year. They've lost in Adelaide, they've lost also in Brisbane, and they lost in a great game in Perth to West Coast, but no wins so far interstate. Hurd coming forward at 45. Long ball round the body, good looking kick, close. Got it. Well, they have managed to stay in this game, the Bombers. Their 2 champions, O'Donnell and Hurd, have kicked goals against the flow, 4-5 to 2-1.
Well, absolutely. As you mentioned, Bruce, the ball just hasn't got down this part of the ground, but when it has, Essendon have been able to get a couple of goals on the scoreboard to at least make what the margin only, where are we? 16 points. Yep. I was doing my mathematics looking at the scoreboard then.
The score never comes up on that scoreboard when you want it to, though, does it? 4-5 to 2-1. Brisbane lead, 2 goals to Lynch, and the others all singles. Free kick. It's going to Brisbane to be taken by Clark. Goes straight towards goal. In the direction of Leppitsch. The bounce is a little awkward. Fletcher. Out comes Merritt. Tough stuff. McRae. Kicks to the goal square. What? Gee whiz, that would have been an absolutely miraculous mark if Darryl White had been able to grasp that.
And I think we could say that Roger Merritt straight-lined the ball on that occasion. His body just went straight through it.
Kick in short, taken by Fletcher. He's got a player wide, near the wing. It's Wallace, and he's taken the mark. So eventually Essendon have been able to get the ball away from that full back line with just a little bit more ease from their previous 5 or 6 attempts. It's in the centre of the ground. Lambert tackled. Ball spills for Olorenshaw. Gowers there for the Bears. Still the ball in the congestion. Chris Scott strong. Gets the ball out wide. This is Fletcher again. Handball. Grabbed there by White. His hand pass too severe. Buick. Olorenshaw gets it into the clear. Lloyd just a fraction slow. Tackled by White. Ball spills for Champion. The kick off the side of his boot. Good distance. Punched away by Lambert. Gathered by McRae. No free kick. He arched his back looking for it. It's punched forward for the Bears. The Essendon defence under pressure. Wallace and Merritt meet. Handball by Lambert. Hart taken out of it. Wanganeen's handball. Young. Back to Wanganeen. It is frenetic. Fletcher's little kick, and Essendon have got it through O'Donnell.
Big play for the Bombers. O'Donnell chips to centre wing, though Dick Voss attacked strongly. Couldn't take the mark. Good play. Calthorpe held him up. Denham turns backwards. Once O'Donnell gets him. Another quick kick. Ackermanis couldn't quite take it off him. Out wide. Buick running towards the boundary, out of play. Gee, what great football Merritt's got up. What fantastic defence there by Essendon. Under terrific pressure. Here's Wallace and Merritt. 36 years of age, Roger, and going to ground. Wallace holding his ground. Somerville, Dick Voss, the ball ran away. Buick. Bombers searching for a late goal to close this game up. Ashcroft from halfback kicks to centre wing. Good effort by Barnard to knock the ball away there from Dion Scott, and a boundary throw in. Full house, sell out here at the Gabba. Their first final. Lynch back onto the ground. Merritt's come off. Lynch with 2 early goals and then a couple of misses. And the Bears lead 4-6 to 2-1. Centre break stats. You can see Brisbane with a big advantage in the first quarter. Tristan Lynch. Lambert. It was a good handball because he had Lambert moving to his preferred side. Kicks the ball at half forward. Calthorpe, well done. Kept it in front, had to bang it on the boot. Champion and Lloyd. Champion probably having his best season. Lambert ducked, did it well. Handball, under pressure, free kick coming back to Lambert in the centre square, in the heart of the square, and the Bombers trail by 17 points.
Gee, they're a little bit stiff there, Essendon. I guess if the free kick's there, you've got to give it. Lambert's kick out wide. The Bombers were nearly away from the centre of the ground. This is Tristan Lynch. Short kick into half forward and standing his ground and taking a pretty good mark in the finish is Doolan for the Bombers. He's between back pocket and left half back. The player on the mark is still inside the 50-metre area. So Doolan's kick goes out towards the wing. Good contest for the mark. Hurd gathers, then gets it to Barnard. Barnard has a look downfield, but it's a very, very ordinary kick. Bombers a chance here. Knocked away by Lloyd. Lappin grabbed a little high. Underneath that surely is a Bears free kick to Lambert. He has been terrific, Lambert, also in the early part of this game. And Roger Merritt with Michael McLean, two of the real veterans of the Brisbane Bears side on the bench at this stage of the game.
Gee, Watt's taken a beauty. Third man in line. Spectacular grab. Ashcroft's kick was quite penetrating. White goes short. Lynch has got him. He's going to kick from about 52. Big kick this one because he started brilliantly, Lynch, and he's missed a couple. Can be a bit wayward with his kicking.
The kind of magic that Darryl White could do. Third man up, grabs the mark, and then just set the ball out in front of Lynch. He's just such a dangerous player, White. Not a lot of possessions in a game, but really very dangerous when he's near the ball.
Lynch from about 54 now. Hooks it badly, and it's out on the full. So he has been a bit wasteful. Their star forward, there's Mercury off the ground. Lynch 5 shots for goal in the opening term, and just 2 majors. Somerville to bring her back in.
In the last minute before quarter time, Somerville goes short. It's close to the line, and it is just over now. I think Voss tried to keep it in, but the boundary umpire will throw it in. John Northey and Scott Clayton, the coaching staff, a couple of them, main coach and chairman of selectors, coming down close to the boundary line. Buick just hammered into the ground. Hart, disciplined kick to the front of the square, knocked away by Wallace. Chance for Doolan, good tackle Ackermanis. Wallace, shocking kick. Calthorpe under pressure, takes it over. And maybe the right play. Essendon under enormous pressure across their full back line. Kevin Sheedy and Danny Corcoran down in readiness for the siren to sound the end of the first term. Calthorpe, just seconds left. Calthorpe's kick, they keep possession. The mark is taken by Lloyd. 50-metre penalty, is it? No. Champion, ever zealous in minding the mark. Kick by Lloyd, clean mark, no free kick against Chris Scott. He's disappointed. Obviously the umpire in a reasonable position for that. He sees a little push out. Ola Renshaw made it look a little worse than it was. And there is the siren to end the first term. And Chris Scott just having a few thoughts about that free kick. Fortunately for him, it was not a penalty that counted for much. And at quarter time, Brisbane lead. They're 4-6-30, 10 scoring shots. Essendon 2-1-13. Margin 17 points in favour of the Bears.
I think the Bears would have to be a little bit disappointed with the only being 17 points in front. They've had 10 scoring shots to Essendon's 5, but even above and beyond that, they've been very wasteful. A couple of out of bounds on the full. I mean, really, they could very easily have had a 5 or 6 goal lead. So from Essendon's point of view, I think they're happy to go to the break with only the 3-goal deficit.
The score at quarter time, Brisbane 4-6-30, Essendon 2-1-13. (4-6 to 2-1), the second qualifying final between Brisbane and Essendon. Brisbane third on the ladder, Essendon in 6th position. Somerville won the tap. Clark quickly. Ackermanis is playing in the centre at the start of the second quarter. Back to half forward. Good go between White and Fletcher. Doolan getting back to help out in the back pocket. Then works it to the boundary line. Brisbane will claim a free kick. Doolan finding touch, so to speak, and it'll be a boundary throw in. So a few touches, Doolan early. Shea Cockatoo Collins, Scott Lucas and Mark Mercuri. Mark Mercuri, interestingly, still on the interchange bench. He's playing deep in defence early in the match. He's been a great goal kicker for Essendon, not only this year, but in finals. So a bit surprising to see him out. Barnard, ex-Hawk, having a good year. Runs straight into Dion Scott and gives a free kick away. See that he was probably a bit upset a moment ago, and foolish kick. Scott's kicked the full forward. Lynch, Wallace crashes through one and then belts the ball back, gets the ball right into the heart of the centre square, over the top of Hardwick and Lloyd onto it. Champion quickly onto him. Lloyd's handball ineffective. Champion back, good. Kennedy, wonderful play. Lloyd to smother, and then on the up to Somerville. Somerville's awkward left footer over the top. Alessio with a height reach, well done, kicks the goal. Well, Lee, on what we've seen tonight, I reckon Essendon will win. It's just falling for them. It's 3-1 to 4-6.
Well, I think it was Lloyd, wasn't it, who did that smother? I was just trying to look to find his number from a distance where it was blown for a fantastic smother. I mean, the ball was going to be 50 metres down the Bears' end, but it ended up in the Essendon forward line and resulted in a goal. Really, it just should go down against his name, Lloyd. Fantastic effort, that part of the game. That's kind of desperation Essendon need to get back.
Well, the Bombers have got their third goal on the scoreboard. The margin just 11 points. It was all Brisbane in the first quarter. And we'll just wait and see if they haven't capitalised. Is it going to be costly for them? Kick forward towards half forward. The mark taken by Gowers. Saw him talking very interestingly to the coach. He's kicked towards full forward. No free kick. Bombers will tidy it up from the full-back line. Barnard, no one really to kick to. Bounces at half-back. Voss, Lynch gets around and then kicks in short. Well done. Mark is taken by Dion Scott.
Wasn't that fantastic awareness by Michael Voss? It was almost like eyes in the back of his head. Just before that incident, he tapped the ball back into Lynch's path, and really great finish by Lynch to percentage play to give the ball to a player who can have a set shot at goal.
Dion Scott kicked the Bears' first goal of the game. He's kicking from about 45 metres. Gets the distance, hits the post. So another disappointing result for Brisbane. They go forward with much efficiency, Merritt on the bench, but not able to slot it through the big sticks. Fletcher gets good distance. Kicks in the direction of Harvey, and Harvey does it well in the finish. He's taken a very important mark. He was outnumbered 2-1, but he's got the ball behind the wing. Now he plays on. Kicks long in towards centre half forward. Marking contest, the ball spills to the back. Nearly taken by Lloyd, missed by Hardwick, gathered by Champion. Champion across the half-back line. The mark is taken by Fletcher.
And pushes short to Voss at half-back. Voss starting to get into the game. Chris Scott will have a paddock, can run away, goes now, and then delivers to full forward, wanting Lynch. Cutting it off though, Doolan. Essendon getting back in numbers and doing well at the moment. It's 19 to 31, 3-1 to 4-7. Ben Doolan cutting across in front of Lynch and Wallace. And the Bombers are right back in this. Got the best defence in the league in terms of points against them. Brisbane going into the final series. Ashcroft to full forward. Fletcher, White not contesting that time, and Fletcher taking the mark. I think Kevin Sheedy will be pretty happy at the moment. Things are working for the Bombers. Ola Renshaw wide. Comes back onto the old trusty left. He's made a late dash for the finals, Ola Renshaw, an important player. Kicks into the centre. Scott at the back. Had a couple of grabs, has got it. Quickly wants to play on. Gets Fletcher, who's had a lot of possessions at centre wing. Goes to half forward. McRae, who was the best forward in the first quarter, takes the mark. Had a brilliant start to this game. Oh, just finds his man. It's Voss. And a kick from about 55, goes very short. McRae is about 10 metres closer than he was originally. He does kick the ball a long way, McRae.
I don't think he'll have any trouble with the distance, Bruce. It's just a question of accuracy.
Kicks from 52. Got in close to the man on the mark, obviously, and smothered. So a litany of errors now from Brisbane as they go forward. So many opportunities early in this game, and yet they lead by just 2 goals.
Justin Blumfield, number 34, spent most of the first term on the bench. Now looks as though he may be manning up on Michael Voss, Dion Scott and James Hurd. Hurd gets it down, Doolan, Ola Renshaw. Quick hands by the Bombers, Harvey. Now Wanganeen running through centre-half back. He straightens up and then kicks poorly in the finish. For a man of his class, he just put it straight down the throat of Richard Champion. Now the Bears will come back. The rebound is going to be very costly. Lappin's got the football. Lappin's kicked to half forward. Well done by Shaun Hart. Just used the body on Dustin Fletcher. Takes the mark and plays on. Kicks towards full forward. Marking contest. No, there was no contest. Lynch just out positioned by Dean Wallace. He's been called to play on. Handball Ola Renshaw. In a spot of bother. Handball Fletcher. Little kick pretty good. Finds Hurd. Hurd goes long. Kicks in the direction of Lloyd. Lloyd and Champion. Well done, Lloyd. Kept his footing and then kicks towards full forward. Bouncing awkwardly off to the left and out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for the Bombers. They trail by 12 points. It is 4-7 to 3-1.
James Hurd's gone for centre-half back for Essendon at the moment, and Matthew Kennedy's remained at the other end. Basically, he's opposed now to Dion Scott.
Saw Mercury a moment ago, just waiting to come out. Alessio worked underneath the ball. Voss takes it. Tackle on him okay. Kennedy, Alessio tries to break through. Couldn't quite. Hardwick snap around the body. And that's out of bounds on the full. Essendon in attack. Scott quickly plays on. Chris Scott kicks to half-back. Champion and Lloyd. Good take, Champion. The Lloyd's had a couple of good touches in this term as well.
Bruce Dion Scott off and Justin Leppitsch back into the fray.
Champion hugging the line. Lovely kick. Darryl White. Half forward. Here's Leppitsch. Hurd. Well read by McRae. Decided against the handball to Ackermanis. Belts it high. Lynch and Wallace. Wallace having a very good patch at the moment. On top of Lynch after Lynch's excellent start. And belts it out of play.
I wonder if that interchange of Leppitsch on for Scott is a reaction to the fact that Hurd is now playing centre-half back, trying to have a more mobile centre-half forward to cope with Hurd's speed.
Boundary throw in, missed everyone. Kicked out of there by Dustin Fletcher, back towards the centre. Blumfield couldn't take the mark, couldn't gather the crumbs. Leppitsch there, overrun by Mercury. Well done, Blumfield. Handball, Leppitsch has got the football. And the umpire will bounce. Just forward of the centre, not quite up to centre-half forward for Brisbane. They lead 4-7 to 3-1. They led 4-6 to 2-1. So there's only a goal being kicked in this term by Essendon and 1 point kicked by Brisbane. Ruckman to go at it. Clark gets his... Well, I thought he was in reasonable position, Matthew Clark, but the umpire deems that as an infringement. He nods in appreciation, which is obviously fair enough, and the free kick will go to Somerville. Somerville for Essendon. Goes long, inside 50, punched away from the half-back line. Gathered by Fletcher. Umpire deems that as all clear. Hardwick gets it out to Buick. Buick on the left foot. Little kick is good, and Lloyd in front of Champion is marked about 53, 54 metres from goal. Matthew Lloyd, haven't seen much of his long kicking ability. He's an exciting young player, but the nod of appreciation, Bruce, is that you fancy his ability to kick the distance from here. So we'll see if he can kick this. It's only 6 points in it. Lloyd, he gets it high in the air. It goes close to the line. It's punched away for a boundary throw in up against the behind post in Essendon's left forward pocket.
The question isn't of Champion's body strength versus Lloyd's slightly more agility at ground level.
Alessio, Somerville, Clark, well done, but can't get through. The tackle on him okay. Lynch, Dick Voss, Buick. Dick Voss wanting the line, finding it. Tanny Dick Voss, first season player at Brisbane. 25 years of age, as we said earlier tonight. Old rookie, but what a good year he's had. Buick traps it. Lynch was able to smother Ashcroft. Lambert put Kennedy under the hammer. Little kick taken by Hurd. Hurd with a chance. The champ sets himself and tries to bring it back with a check side from centre half forward, improvising a behind. So Herd with 1-1, Essendon 3-2 to 4-7. It was 4-6 to a goal at one stage. So they're going all right, Essendon, as a champion kicks the ball to centre wing.
Kicks it away where it's 2-on-1 favouring Essendon. The mark has been paid in front to Matthew Lloyd. I thought it was all right. The Bears crowd, well, it's very much one-sided. Lots of boos there for that decision. Lloyd's kick towards half-forward. Good mark. Terrific mark taken by Alessio, standing up straight. And the big body was hard to budge.
And he's opposed to Danny Dixford, got a very big height advantage here, Alessio. If the ball is directly above their head and it's not so much a question of movement, a question of reach, then Alessio's going to be pretty dangerous in that particular contest.
Alessio has already kicked one of Essendon's 3 goals. Can he kick a second one? It looks pretty good. It's a goal to the Bombers. Alessio's second goal. And there is only one kick in this game. 31 plays 26.
Yes, and it's really just goes to show the scoreboard's the only thing that really matters. In general play, we know the Bears have had the ascendancy, but on the scoreboard, Essendon are right in the game, and they've sort of stabilised after that first blitzkrieg by the Bears in the first part of the game, and are now going along pretty well.
Bombers closing. Alessio with a couple of goals in the second quarter. Clark again winning the tap. Shaycock to Collins. Tackle on him was fair. Ricky Olorenshaw, I should say, on a bounce. So Clark continuing to get his hand on it and winning the centre breaks the Bears, but Essendon right back in it now. They've done a great job. Somerville taps it back. Voss, so accurate to Champion. He straightens up on the left, kicks the ball to the 50. At the back, Calthorpe able to tee off with it. Harvey has to sit. Good hands. Doolan, Buick running from Calthorpe. Buick away with a bounce. And a second. May take his man on. A third at 54 metres. Goes for goal and kicks it. They're in front. He's always on for something like that. And Essendon with a rush have hit the front. 5-2 to 4-7.
And as soon as Darren Buick gained the ball, Brisbane, as we see at the back of the centre square, was a question. He feinted the hand pass just enough to make Champion sort of come away from him, and a good long kick from the 50-metre mark. Very dangerous finisher, Darren Buick.
Gee, it was a beautiful kick, wasn't it? He just measured it beautifully, didn't try and kick it too hard. 5 goals now to Essendon. They lead 5-2 to 4-7. Centre bounce. Fletcher nearly tackled by Buick, but still able to shrug that and kick it forward for Brisbane. To centre half forward, up high was Herd. Now Leppitsch, the crummer. He's got the ball, he's outside 50. Can he give the hand pass? Oh, reminiscent of a game here a couple of weeks ago. Straight in goes Justin Leppitsch. Goal of the night so far. Great goal kicked by Justin Leppitsch. A single-handed performance there. And he gets the lead back for Brisbane. They lead 5-7 to 5-2.
Well, I must admit, it didn't surprise me one iota that Leppitsch went this play. Dustin Fletcher didn't seem to expect it coming, but I think it was always a fair chance. Leppitsch likes to hold the ball out. Ball can come back, as we saw him do it on the against the man on the mark in one game up here early in the year. But really, great individual play by Buick and then Leppitsch for these last 2 goals.
5-7 to 5-2. This game's come alive. Leppitsch doing what he did against Collingwood and feeding the ball out and then kicking the goal. Ashcroft caught up by Buick. Suddenly the tempo has risen as they go blow for blow now. Much more even contest. 5-point margin. Clark, what stamina he's got. We've seen him this year go all day. He's going to need to, because the Bombers have got Somerville primarily, and then they've got Alessio to throw against him. Hardwick. Fresh air shot, not happening. Here's Voss. Under pressure, well done though. His vision is immaculate. Gives it to Kennedy. Kennedy inside. Wanganeen, well played. Hart to push forward. Doolan has to ride it. Under pressure now. Wanganeen goes to ground. Herd on the up. Terrific handball. Calthorpe away. A kick towards centre wing. Outnumbered Mercury. Well played. Buick's hands were excellent. And then just waited and gave it to Doolan. Doolan gave one dummy off and then pushed the half forward, wanting Hardwick. Well played by Lynch. Hardwick struggling early, goes to ground. Lynch at half-back, holds the footy up and gets to Lappin. He can run away, Lappin. Likes to play on normally. Then measures the kick to half-forward. Good kick to Leppitsch. At the back, Fletcher fumbling a little under pressure. And fortunately for Fletcher, Ackermanis ran it out because that might have been the play that Fletcher was looking for. Boundary throw in. There's Hardwick up on his feet. It's 37 to 32.
Hardwick going to ground. Tristan Lynch keeping his footing, very important in today's football. This is Adrian Fletcher for the Brisbane side. He's kicked towards, oh, great leap and mark to Leppitsch. Geez, figured in goal of the night, and that at this stage would nearly be classified as mark of the night.
Well, I mean, really, Leppitsch, we've seen him do it up here, just sort of turn the game with a 10 or 15 minute burst. Really just couldn't get a sniff of the ball last week. He's playing on James Hurt, and John North instructed Leppitsch to play deep in the forward line, pretty much to play as a second full forward, and on the lead there when the ball carried long, he was in front and marked.
Leppitsch kicks for goal and puts it through. 2 goals in 3 minutes to Justin Leppitsch. Leppitsch has kicked Brisbane's 6th goal. They lead 6-7 to 5-2.
Yes, mate, just before that situation happened, John Northey had pushed Leppitsch deep into the forward line, as I mentioned, to drag, I think, Hurt away from the half-back line. If there's a centre-half forward designated for the Bears, it's probably almost Craig McRae playing in that part of the ground, supported by Darryl White. So interesting to see what Essendon will do with James Hurt.
6-7, 5-2. Leppitsch, a burst player. Swings the game in 3 minutes with a couple of goals. Harvey just holds it up. Handball by Denham, chopped off. Lambert to full forward. Leppitsch and Hurd. Doolan's got it in front. He's cut across a couple of times tonight. Doolan courageously pushes to half-back. Ola Renshaw. So now it's Essendon's turn to be under great pressure and regroup. After they kicked 4 goals without an answer, Brisbane come back with the last 2. Ola Renshaw to centre wing. Clark worked under the ball by Somerville. Lynch, who's played very well. Handball inside, excellent. Taken by Kennedy. Kicks the ball inside 50. Leppitsch, well done, Hurd in the front. Takes the mark. Gives it away. Wide by Doolan. Fletcher onto it now.
Fletcher's got the ball. He's been forced to go back and kick over the man on the mark. Cockatoo Collins, who came on the ground at the expense of Barnard, just before Justin Leppitsch kicked his 2nd goal, as Mark kicks in towards full forward, 3rd in line. It's nearly the mark. That's a push in the back, maybe. And Barnard, who's back on the ground, giving the free kick away. Champion, his kick out wide. It's been taken by Lynch. Tristan Lynch getting a little bit of the football. He's had 9 possessions. Buick and Ashcroft. Shaun Hart takes it over, and the boundary umpire will throw it in on centre wing, right down in front of our commentary area. Hardwick is off the ground for Essendon. Buick not able to gather it, but Voss can. Voss running and then kicking rather awkwardly in towards full forward. And that ball, a bit difficult there for Alistair Lynch to grasp. It goes through for another boundary throw-in, but on this occasion, it is well within scoring distance for Brisbane. Michael Magic McLean. Brisbane veteran, you would have to say. Not many games this year, but giving him a chance to play in the finals. Diving on it as Doolan. That's a bit risky, but the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt and will bounce about 45 metres from Brisbane's goal.
I think I mentioned what would Essendon do with James Hurd. I don't think they want him on the full back line, and Paul Barnett has gone back onto Leppitsch. Hurd back into the Essendon forward line.
Ruck contest, knocked over by Darryl White, not taken by Denham, gathered by Voss, dragged off the footy. Gee, they're in a lot of strife there, that Essendon defence. The Bears forwards working industriously at half forward, and the umpire will bounce about 35 metres from the Brisbane goal. They lead 6-7 to 5-2. It's an 11-point margin.
Fantastic play by Voss a moment ago to hold up the bomber player coming away. Now he's gone for holding the footy. Unlucky probably there. Didn't have a lot of time. Blumfield wide. Hurd. Centre wing. Interesting to chart his course tonight, wouldn't it? To see where he goes, Hurd. Somerville worked underneath it. Dick Voss goes to ground. Alessio over the top. And it's going to be a
I
bounce.
was going to say, if history's any guide, Bruce, you'll see every blade of grass on this ground, the way James Hurt plays. Interesting, when he dropped forward there, Richard Champion picked him up, but now they've swapped over, and Matthew Kennedy, his designated opponent, pre-games, picking Hurt up again.
Deep into the second quarter. Couple of goals in it. Blumfield, well done. Here's a chance. Bombers, surely a goal. Hurt onto it and kicks his second. Oh, what a player he is. He's irrepressible, isn't he? 6'7" to 6'2", and Essendon back within 5 points.
And a good ruck contest here. I think Essendon had basically had all the forward space forward of the play, and as soon as there was a quick kick, it was all the Essendon players. I think there's one thing in football, players generally run harder forward towards goal than they do back in defence, and the Essendon blokes were the guys charging forward. Heard the one to finish.
2 goals to James Hurt, 2 goals to Stephen Alessio. Ruck contest won by Brisbane. Down goes Fletcher. Doolan the tackler. The ball spills for Doolan. He can't get the ball away though. Back to the centre. Handball out to Buick. Buick running down the ground. Kicks to half forward. Hurd just misjudges it. Cockatoo Collins skillfully gets it back. Look for Lucas. He's still got it. Tristan Lynch has got him. And Cockatoo Collins is penalised.
Robbo Somerville's badly cut in the centre of the oval, right in the heart of the centre square. He'll have to go off. He's got a really nasty cut across his nose.
Lynch's hand pass to Dick Voss. Dick Voss into the middle of the ground, and the mark is taken by Hart. So the umpire just holding up play now as Peter Somerville does stride towards the interchange.
Normally they wait till there's a ball up or a boundary throw in for the blood rule. I've very rarely seen play stopped in midstream for a player to be interchanged because of that blood rule situation.
Lynch also going off for Brisbane. He's struggling now, Alistair Lynch, isn't he, after his great start. Wallace has been right on top of him. Dion Scott going to fall forward. There's a Shaun Hart. Just a repair here with the boot. So what a time now. There's Peter Somerville, who's been badly cut. Let's have a look at here. He's bleeding profusely, as you can see.
I'd say a clash of heads with his own teammate.
Yep.
What a way to get cut.
So they're going to have to arrest that bleeding, and as you can see, it's pouring out of their number 1 ruckman. And,
that's pouring's the correct word, isn't it, Bruce? We see here as he comes down, it's a clash of heads. I think it was Gary O'Donnell.
So Hart to take it. Just offensive side of centre. Floating kick. Lands fortuitously. Watt just trying to be a little too cute. Harvey turns it over. Gets to Alessio. Alessio back towards Hurd. A very vacant forward line. Hurd's got it. Cockatoo Collins. Good finisher. 40 metres out. Keeps it low. Kicks it through. They're in front again, the Bombers. Well played. Hurd is starting to cut them apart again. 6-7 to 7-2. Essendon back in front.
Yes, I mentioned James Hurd hadn't touched the ball up until the 17-minute mark, I think it was, of the first quarter, but he's got 10 possessions now and starting to work his way into the game. Cockatoo Collins, he hasn't touched the ball much so far in the game either, but it really is now a goal-for-goal game. It's really anybody's ball game.
Essendon lead by a point. 3.5 minutes left in the second term. Alessio just that little bit taller than Peter Somerville. Making a contest at the centre bounce. Fletcher, that's Dustin Fletcher from half back. The race is on here. You're just about back James Hurd. He's got the football in front of him. Doesn't decide to give it the hand pass away. Kicks to the front of the goals. Cockatoo Collins nearly grabbed it. Is the ball still in? It is. And the Bears' defence under pressure as Champion just holds it in, and that really looked as though it went over for a behind, but the goal umpire very close to the scene there, and umpire Brian Shaun will bounce. Only 12 metres away from the Essendon goal. Alessio taps it out wide. Ackermanis smothered off the boot by Buick. Boundary throw in. 2 3/4 minutes left, and the boundary umpire will throw it in. It's about 15 to 20 metres around from Essendon's goal. They lead this match by a point. They lead 7-2 to 6-7. They trail 2-1 to 4-6 at quarter time. Kick forward. It's another goal to Essendon. Kicked by Darren Buick. So they now lead the game by 7 points, the Bombers.
And Hurt and Buick, 2 goals apiece. And he just is a fantastic goal kicker, Darren Buick. You give him a little bit of space in that forward 50 and really just got such great control of his kicking, whether it's laying the ball across the boot as he did on that occasion. Very, very dangerous small forward.
What about Somerville, Dipper?
He's got a broken nose. Bruce, we saw him come off the ground and he was bleeding quite heavily.
Thanks for that, Ashcroft. O'Donnell, now Gowers going forward. Leppitsch attacking at the back. No Crummers. It's been a bit of a problem for the Bears in the second quarter. Fletcher bangs it back. Gowers has got it and should kick a goal. He's going to play on and deliver to Leppitsch, who bounced out and then bounced back in. Well, Gowers was well within kicking distance. He was only 35 to 40 metres out. But Leppitsch, with the chance to kick his 3rd goal and Brisbane's 3rd goal in this quarter.
A bad clearance out of defence on Essendon's behalf. Went across goal. When you do that, you've got to make sure there's a teammate on the end of it.
Big kick for the Bears against the flow. Leppitsch, it looks good, he's got it. No, hitting the post, so for the 3rd time tonight. They've hit the post, Brisbane, once in the opening quarter and now twice in this term. There's Lynch looking on. It's all right, Leppitsch. Oh, short, cut off again. Chance for Oloreen, short, Mercury, back, well played, O'Donnell. That's excellent football to Cowthorpe. O'Donnell took a hard one behind play. Fletcher the target, Champion at him hard. Fletcher stood his ground, has got it. It's Fletcher, be careful, Champion, it'll be 50. Hopefully the Dennis Rich will give him the benefit of not having heard it. Gee, O'Donnell was good, wasn't he, a moment ago under pressure?
That was really cool in a crisis, wasn't it, in that situation? Essendon were under intense pressure in that part of the ground.
I thought Blumfield was all right too for a young boy. He was in that action as well.
In fact, it was again the short kick was Russian roulette from their kickoffs.
Fletcher to centre half forward. Alessio with a height advantage when he's on Dick Voss, but Clark there. Buick's kick. Gowers with Lucas. Ball going to ground. Voss overran it. Unusual for him. Well played, Champion. Very well done. Gets it to Hart. High ball. Essendon have got numbers. And Fletcher plucks it out of the air. Wide against the tide. Fletcher's kick to Harvey. Here's the chance.
Harvey has taken the mark, looking to play on. Doolan's created the loose player. Goes in short. Very risky again. Kick for Wanganeen wasn't all that good. Wanganeen goes after it. Voss was the Brisbane Bears player that intercepted. And the umpire will bounce between centre and centre half forward, favouring the Bombers. 34 seconds left in the first half. Peter Somerville, well, he'll have half time now to be worked on, so we should see him back in the second half of the game. It's at centre half forward for Essendon. A struggle here. Ashcroft dispossessed. Cockatoo Collins gets his kick away. The kick was probably smothered. Champion over the top of Wanganeen. James Hurd still got the footy. Blumfield further to Lucas. Lucas's kick off the boot smothered and forced over for a boundary throw-in. So lots of pressure being applied by players all over the ground. Both sides having a real good go at it. And at this stage of the game, the Bombers lead by 6 points. They're 8-2 to 6-8. Boundary throw in, left forward pocket. Not clear. And for Brisbane, they can perhaps breathe a sigh of relief. Essendon in attack in the dying seconds of the first half. The siren to end the first half, and Essendon lead 8-2 to 6-8.
And we're really seeing a contest. I think that's what we love, and particularly in a finals game. I mean, obviously the Bears just jumped out of the blocks in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, but Essendon stabilised the ship, got in front, Bears got in front again. Essendon go to the half-time break with a 6-point lead, and it has really been a fantastic contest. Not that pretty, because there's a lot of pressure on players, both physically and mentally.
Gee, Harvey, a 3-time premiership player then with James Hurd. They shared one in 93. Michael Voss, quiet first half by his own standards. We've seen him do this in the past, be a slow starter and come rushing home. But this game up for grabs. A great performance by Essendon to claw its way back. And at half-time, they lead by a goal. It's 6-8 Brisbane, Essendon 8-2. Second half about to commence. Both Merritt and Lynch in the goal square for Brisbane. It's 6-8 to 8-2. Bears going to the left of screen. Bombers with a fantastic second quarter. a 6-goal term. Lambert had it cut off by Wanganeen, playing up the ground. Chris Scott, high tackle, must get a free. Denham's tackle just a bit high in the end. And Scott to Lappin. Lappin quickly onto the boot to Voss. They'll need a very big third term from Voss. Unloads. It couldn't get to Merritt. And Mercury cut across and took it. Barnard, a second bounce. Confident, a third. A fourth. Hasn't run very far. Handball okay. Doolan out wide. Lucas the target. Champion in pursuit. And White. Lucas goes back to Fletcher. Fletcher has to kick high. Centre wing O'Donnell setting himself. Fletcher works to the front. That's Adrian Fletcher, distinct from Dustin who kicked it. And now Gower's in there with Lucas and a bounce. The second qualifying final between the third-ranked Brisbane and number 6 Essendon. A potential knockout final for both. The odds of Brisbane going out if they lose are astronomical. They'd have to have 3 results go against them and all outsiders, but it is possible. And for Essendon, they'd be very shaky if they lost tonight. Mercury, Doolan, Denham, hip and shoulder by Chris Scott. Clark and O'Donnell. Clark pushes forward with the boot. Gains 5 or 6 metres. Boundary throw-in. 6-8 to 8-2.
Do you see it as a necessity maybe for the Bears to be 2 or 3 goals in front at three-quarter time? I mean, they led 4-6 to 2-1 at quarter time.
We saw Craig Lambert have a very good first quarter and faded a bit in that second quarter. Of course, he's missed a few weeks injured. So you're just down a little bit on fitness, just that few percent.
I thought I heard one of the boys on the boundary line talk about the Bears maybe looking a little weary. Well, Essendon have got plenty of run in their legs. This is Wanganeen. He received from Buick, and you could nearly put this down. Wanganeen will cap it off, won't he? He's run right in, all the way, Gavin Wanganeen. Magnificent goal. Well, that is inspirational play there by the Bombers' back pocket player, kicking their 9th goal.
Well, it was. He's carried the ball just about from the wing, and the first goal of the third quarter is just so important. The players have had a long break at half-time, and just who can come out and get the momentum going early and get that first goal on the board. And really a great individual effort by Wanganeen. Great speed.
Well, it gives Essendon a 12-point advantage. Somerville, a backhand to centre-half forward. Running onto it is Denham. He's going to get run down, but he gets his left foot to it to full forward. Hurd grabbed by the jumper, and the umpire spotted it. And the Bombers will have another chance to kick a goal. James Hurd has kicked 2.
And you see the jumper comes away from the body. Not much doubt about that. I've seen much softer free kicks, as we often term them, paid than that one. There was a good handful of Guernsey that Kennedy had. As soon as the umpire saw that, it was always going to be a free kick.
Ideal start for Essendon. Early in the third term, they may get their second goal on the scoreboard through James Hurd. It just floats away off to the right and through for a behind. 2 goals, 2 to James Hurd. Lambert having a spell with Leppitsch, and Ackermanis is into the fray for Brisbane. Dick Voss kicks in short. The mark is taken by Chris Scott.
Real let off there for the Bears. Hurd missing. Scott's kicked to centre wing. Dion Scott forced underneath. Ackermanis, McRae, they might need some of their zip up forward. Hart's kicked to half forward. White and Fletcher out of bounds. They need some inspiration, don't they, the Bears up
out
forward.
On the fall off Fletcher's foot.
So going to the Bears, to White. Quickly on, short, Lynch, Wallace, and Olorenshaw running across in front. So the Bears get it to within about 30 metres of the goal. Lynch started this game fantastically well, but he's struggled. Essendon this year not so good in the third quarter. Well under 50%, considering they've won 14 and a half games. Hart, play on, called. But they've started this term very well, with a couple of forward thrusts, Essendon. Wanganeen's spectacular running goal, and then Hurd missing. Bears in their first ever home final, second only in the club's history. Dion Scott, Doolan, who's played very deep at times tonight and quite effectively, pushes the ball wide, wants it to go out. It hasn't. Lucas onto it. He may run it out, still in play. Lucas's handball missed Olorenshaw. Danger perhaps. McRae attacks it hard as he did at the start of the first quarter. It slipped through Gowers. Clark trying to get in there. Mercury over the top. Rather Cowthorpe, I should say, and it's going to be a bounce. About 50 metres from the Bears' goal, and they need one right now. They're 6-8 to 9-3.
Gee, that's the sort of experience I was talking about at half-time with young Lucas. I'm sure that a senior player perhaps wouldn't have had any hesitation in taking that out of bounds.
Yeah, allow it to go out, not deliberately put it out, but allow it to go out.
Yeah, and then the hand pass centred the ball and nearly gave the Bears the opportunity for a goal. Boundary throw in about 55 metres around from Brisbane's goal. It's knocked forward for the Bombers. Gathered by Gowers. He's able to shrug the attempted tackle there by Blumfield. He's kicked towards full forward. Bears mark. Dion Scott. Oh, he played on, did he? Oh, the Essendon boys were onto him. He took half a step towards goal, but the umpire may not have just seen it. And Dion Scott being given the chance to have a set shot.
How do you call it correctly, Robbo? He thought that he might just be able to sneak off and kick the easy goal without going back behind the mark. And it was certainly half a step, but probably if the umpire had seen what we saw, it would have been play on. But Scott started very well in the first quarter, faded in the second, so pretty important kick this.
It is, and he's kicked it. He's got two, Dion Scott. 2 goals to the big number 38 for Brisbane. They trail by 7 points. Essendon 57, Brisbane 50.
Well, to say the Bears need, that's an understatement. I mean, Essendon really have had reasonable control in the latter part of the second quarter. Certainly jumped out of the blocks, but I suppose it was reversed. The Bears have gone forward once in this third quarter and been able to convert, which is exactly the problem they had early on.
Handy contribution from Dion Scott. A couple of goals, 7-8, 9-3. Back to 7 points. Clark and Somerville. Clark dropping it down. Voss couldn't get hold of it. Somerville, Blumfield pushes forward. He's doing a good stopping job on Voss at the moment. O'Donnell couldn't quite crash through, and again a bounce. Gary O'Donnell, who kicked the goal against the Tide for Essendon when things were rough early. Played a wonderful first quarter. Clark. Ashcroft trying to get onto it. Voss being held up. No free kick. Fletcher, Somerville and Clark having a bit of a to-do behind the play. Fletcher's wide handball gets to Ashcroft. Ashcroft to Tristan Lynch. Lynch back towards 50. Alistair Lynch's big fly. Merritt pushes forward. Cowthorpe. Barnard hacking the boundary line. It goes off Chris Scott out of bounds on the full, and Olorenshaw to get it. Olorenshaw plays on. Handball was good. Gives it to Mercury.
Mercury assesses and then kicks in the direction of Blumfield. Back goes Voss. Blumfield not able to grab hold of the footy. So the boundary umpire will throw it in. It is not quite up to half forward for Essendon. John Northey and his cohorts in the coach's box. And again, it looks like Somerville to be attended to on the bench. His nose bleeding profusely once again.
I think we saw they blocked up his nostrils to prevent the bleeding. It makes it very hard to breathe when your nostrils are completely
look at
blocked
that.
up, but that is a very heavy bleed, isn't it?
Well, we saw what happened in the second term after the ruck contest. His head crashed into Gary O'Donnell, and that's exactly how this came about in the second term, and he's suffering again. Matthew Lloyd takes Somerville's place. Alistair Lynch is off the ground again for Brisbane. Leppitsch back onto the playing field. Fletcher, he's at half back, finds just a little bit of space for himself and then kicks over his right shoulder. Good mark taken by Champion. Be careful, Rick. Be very, very careful, Rick. 50-metre penalty. It wasn't really necessary.
It's just so pointless, isn't it? Gives away 50 metres completely unnecessarily. One wonders what goes through a player's head in that situation.
And in a very, very tight situation, the players have got to be extremely disciplined. And if this gives Richard Champion a goal, gee whiz, Ricky Olorenshaw, you'll have a debt to pay for the Bombers. 57 to 50, Essendon lead. Champion from 50 metres. He's got the breeze at his back. It is a magnificent bomb by Champion. It's a goal.
Olarinshaw off.
So Champion kicks his first goal, but more importantly, it is Brisbane's 8th, and there is only 1 point in it, and Olarinshaw, you will get an earful.
Yes, I think it was, I mean, really, it was just so unnecessary. I think even above and beyond the free kick, I think it was a little bit more than the 50-metre penalty, to be honest. But not only was it a 50, Champion still had to kick the ball almost 60 metres and kick it straight, which he did.
Bears out of the centre. Buick gets the kick to Lucas at centre wing. Threw it away in the end. Fletcher. Champion. He also threw the ball away. Gowers. McCurry playing very deep. O'Donnell's high ball. This game really alive. 8-8-2, 9-3, a point the difference. Ashcroft back to Champion. Back to Ashcroft in trouble. To Champion. To Gowers. Gowers quickly onto the boot. Alessio underneath it. It's good mark, Scott. He's been useful. Gives it to Clark. Unusual to give it to the ruckman. Clark penetrating, kick a good one. Merritt missed the lot. So did Leppitsch. Barnard to get back. Tries to mop up. A bounce. He likes to do that. The handball put his man under pressure, and Young deliberately pushes the ball out of play, but you couldn't pin him for that. And a boundary throw-in. Again, Essendon going short in defence with a handball that time, not a kick, and putting their defender under great pressure.
There is great pressure out there, put on by all players.
Merritt tries to lay it back. Well done, Dustin Fletcher boots it out. Ashcroft's got a bit of leeway here. If he can pick it up cleanly, he does. Gets to Ackermanis. Ackermanis, a goal kicker. That is a fantastic kick. They're back in front. We have got a game here. This is really revving now. 9-8 to 9-3.
You feel, Lee, that they have to have an advantage at three-quarter time? I mean, considering that Essendon kicked 6 goals in the second quarter?
No, not necessarily, I think, except the fact that a guy like Lambert is on interchange at the moment, again, might be struggling to play a strong 4 quarters. But that 50-metre penalty is just so important. It demoralises Essendon, bears the goal, and then really lifts everybody.
It was a good kick by Ackermanis to get the Brisbane side's 9th goal. Centre bounces. They are dominating with the centre clearances. That kick has been safely marked across half-back for Essendon by Harvey. He can go in the direction of Fletcher, and Fletcher's taken the mark. Dustin Fletcher for Essendon. 5 points is the margin in favour of Brisbane. They trailed by 6 points at half-time. Fletcher's kick high to the wing. Mark. Good clean mark. One arm up. Grabbed it in. Alessio. Now Doolan. Alessio provides the shepherd. Doolan goes in towards the centre. It's taken by Denham. He's got a player running wide. It looks like Harvey out there, but coming in is Hurd. He's taken the mark. They could have raffled it. James Hurd kicks long in towards half forward. Punched away by the Bears' defence. Now it's important. Gather by Kennedy. Gather by Champion. Wider for Ackermanis. They could go down the ground here, Brisbane. Hand pass by Ackermanis. Wider still. Voss has a good look, bombs away towards full forward. It covers the players in that area. Darryl White swoops on it. Couldn't grab the football. Gee whiz, that's an ordinary hand pass. Fletcher tackled by Hart. Darryl White tried to get the hand pass across to Leppitsch. Chopped off by Calthorpe. Barnard. Now Essendon through their captain Gary O'Donnell. The handball wider for Cockatoo Collins. The free kick. The advantage has been paid. It's a high kick. Gowers, a magnificent punch. Back to within scoring distance. O'Donnell's handball was all right, and Barry Young made it even better. He runs through the centre. He goes short, wide at a half forward. Nearly the mark taken by Hurd. Can he break the Kennedy tackle? He handballed in front of himself, and you are so lucky, James Hurd. Matthew Kennedy. It was only a matter of centimetres in this. Had the ball, grabbed him by the jumper, play on in my book. James Hurd with the footy, goes short. And the mark is taken by Barry Young, and the player on the mark will be just inside 50 metres. Questionable umpiring decision. Has the football in Barry Young's hands. Bears fans not happy. Gowers on the mark. Young, a shocking kick. He has missed everything by 15 or 20 metres. It bounced over. So it will be a throw-in the right forward pocket for Essendon.
Somerville with the huge problems he's got at the moment. Poor fellow. He's had a hard time tonight. And bleeding from that nose. Alessio takes it out of the air. High ball. Looks good. What a kick by Alessio. 3 goals to Stephen Alessio. And again, Essendon hit the lead. It's 10-3 to 9-8.
Matthew Clark has really been very good at the ruck work, but with Somerville off for the blood rule and Alessio in there, he's being double-teamed. And Alessio has pushed forward into the Essendon's forward line and really just took it out of the air. And really great agility for a big fella. Hooked the ball over the left shoulder. Great goal.
Bombers back in front. It's been a tremendous final. Through the centre, the Bears. Voss, brilliantly done. Rode the bump. Left foot to fall forward. Merritt's got it. A tumbling mark in the end by the 36-year-old. He won 2 premierships as a player with Essendon, and Voss's play out of the centre there to hold his balance against the tide and then deliver.
Yeah, we didn't quite see the first bit of it. The ruck work again by Clark, but Voss was the one who extricated himself from a really heavy traffic situation and then delivered the ball so beautifully with Merritt.
Merritt to put the Bears back in front. He's got it. He hasn't had many kicks, the old fella, but he has kicked 2 goals, and Brisbane lead by 5 points.
Just goal for goal now. Just goal for goal. And really the thing that has troubled Essendon a little bit in this game is just a couple of those mistakes. Again, that free kick on the goal line to Lynch very early in the quarter, the first quarter, the 50-metre penalty for Champion. They have to make sure that the Bears absolutely earn every goal.
A good kick by Roger Merritt, his 2nd goal for the game, and Brisbane lead again by 5 points. We've got 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Hart and Denham. Clark gets it out to Lappin. Lappin from half-back. Short kick all right. Sets it up for Ashcroft. Ashcroft can go down the ground in the direction of Merritt. Wallace from behind. Harvey to confront Ackermanis. It's kicked forward. Wanganeen under pressure. Now Leppitsch and Wanganeen. The ball over. Leppitsch not happy. Wanganeen will get a free kick here. Absolute living certainty. Wanganeen gets a free kick. Gavin Dorr, Lambert in there. Young. Tempers frayed. Robert Dixon, the Bears runner. Harvey and Leppitsch. An absolute living certainty to break it up. A free kick to that champion for Essendon, Gavin Wanganeen. He kicked one of the goals of the year, Gavin Wanganeen, earlier in this 3rd term. And now he's defending for the Bombers. Not big in stats. Gets the kick outside 50. Alessio from behind. Lucas couldn't gather. Denham, handball close to the line. It will go over for a boundary throw-in right near the players' interchange boxes. And Leppitsch comes back at Wanganeen, you'll see here. And Ackermanis too hops in. So the fiery redheads for the Bears, giving the free kick away to the Essendon defender.
Clark gets a tap. Denham has it ripped off. White gives it up, unfortunately. Buick. He's been filled after play here, and Calthorpe does not like it and gets into Dion Scott, and it's a free kick to Essendon down the ground. Harvey, the old general, just letting Gavin know exactly what's going on. So critical time here. Just a kick in it. Lucas's kick gets it past centre wing. Cockatoo Collins has been reasonably quiet. Shaun Hart bends it back in his 100th game. O'Donnell, so often tonight, against the tide, and again there puts the fist out and belts it out of bounds.
You can see there's a lot of heat come into this game in the last few minutes. It's a time for composure and cool heads now.
It's going to be a hot footy, isn't it? Hard to take under pressure here. Alessio doing well in the ruck. Voss spins out of trouble. Handball goes to the ground. Tristan Lynch has got to take it cleanly. Fumbles it away. He might have been pushing it in front, but he had a chance to take it cleanly the first time.
Just thought Voss's handball was a little too fierce then.
Went to ground and ran away.
When you hand pass the ball backwards away from your own goal, it's got to be soft to allow your teammate to run through the ball.
10-8, 10-3. Bears by 5 points. Alessio and Clark. Buick always dangerous. Kicks the ball high this time. Covering about 20 metres only. Champion, well done. That is a terrific mark. swings it out wide to Kennedy. Kennedy wider still, and Lappin's away.
Gee, I think if anybody's doubted Richard Champion's ability as a footballer, he's certainly shown his true colours this year. Calthorpe defending for Essendon at half forward. Ackermanis' handball. Lambert's gone. Had the handball quickly. Looked for Ackermanis and missed the target. Boundary thrown. We've got 7 minutes left in the third term. Lynch having a spell on the bench. And Brisbane lead this game by 5 points. Doolan's had quite a lot of the football. Gets good distance with the kick. But back there is Dick Voss for Brisbane. He is at left half back. Only 20 goals scored in the match so far. Dick Voss gets good distance. Goes to the back. Hardwick to run it down and runs away. Well done. Will get the handball away. Missed his target. Calthorpe. Handball again, missed his target. Very, very critical in the middle of the ground. Voss, he's locked up. The ball is in underneath there somewhere and Voss can't clear it. So the umpire will come in and bounce. The game has hotted up. You can sense it. Players putting enormous pressure on opponents in endeavours to get hold of that footy. 10-8 to 10-3 Brisbane lead. Clark tries to take it out of the air. In there is Fletcher. He's got the footy. Blumfield. Now Shaun Hart. Can't break away, but he taps it to the advantage of Scott. The bounce was awkward. That's a free kick to Hardwick against Scott. Free kicks are 14 to Essendon, 10 to Brisbane. And Damien Hardwick has the football for the Bombers at right half back.
High, slow ball to centre half forward, Alessio. Clark at the back. Leppitsch. Hard handball for Ashcroft. Had too much on it. He had to go high. Buick's got it. Buick goes with a long one. Hurd after it. It's going to be a hard ball bouncing away. Hurd in the pocket. He's just the man for the occasion. Tries to take his man on. Centering kick's good. Scott Lucas. Well done. Hurd saw him.
I think, as you said, Robert, that was almost 50.
It was nearly the same as, although he just bumped him. Olorenshaw maybe lifted his arm to interfere with the Bears player, but it came in late.
So Lucas to put Essendon back in front. Left foot. Just pushing it for a behind. So even though they've kicked straightly, 10-4, both Hurd missed a pretty easy one this term. Lucas, well, you'd back him there 8 out of 10, wouldn't you? And it's 10-8 to 10-4.
Very kickable goal, but there's pressure on every part of the game now. And it's a matter of which team, which players can keep their composure with these stakes so high.
Essendon with the numbers at half forward. O'Donnell taking from Cockatoo Collins. He's kicked as Ackermanis has a spell on the bench. Gary O'Donnell's kick to touch was reasonably effective. McRae is back onto the ground for Brisbane. Clark and Alessio. Down to Ashcroft. In turn to Tristan Lynch. Down to Voss. He couldn't control the footy and it will be thrown in on centre wing.
John Northey's tried to interchange his ground level players a little. McRae's had a spell on the bench. Lambert's had a spell on the bench. Ackermanis has been on the bench. They should have a bit of run in them as the game goes on.
Lynch onto the ground once again. We've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the term. Ashcroft to Shaun Hart. Hart's kick towards full forward. Again, it clears the players on that goal line. Gower's running after it. So is Doolan. Wanganeen. Quite prepared to give away a behind to Brisbane was Gavin Wanganeen. So Brisbane lead by 5 points. 4 minutes left. Merritt on the bench. Lynch on the ground for Brisbane. 10-9 to 10-4. You can see the time left in the third quarter. It is 4 minutes 22. This will be a fantastic finish. Being set up at the moment. Dustin Fletcher to kick in.
Barry Young the target at half-back. Leppitsch gets back. Chris Scott close to the line. Back inside. Didn't get to Dion Scott. He has to go after it hard. O'Donnell. And that's out of play. So just an average old handball by the Bears there. Scott to Scott. And O'Donnell able to cut it off.
Gavin Wanganeen got the hobbles up behind play. Got a knock in the goal square there.
Clark and Alessio. Alessio doing pretty well, though Clark's had an excellent first half. Hardwick with White. Buick, Hardwick, little quick kick. Lappin just went the distance apparently. Lappin always keen to move on. Then kicks the ball wide, looking for Dion Scott in front of Harvey. Turns Harvey around slightly, but under pressure. kicks the ball into the pocket, still in play, deep in the pocket. McRae runs it out. Craig McRae, who started brilliantly, burst through the Essendon halfback line. That's Brisbane's record against the top 8 this year. It's the second best in the competition after Sydney's, having won 6 and losing just a couple. Doolan at centre half-back, comes away, kicks the ball as far as he can, into the centre, bouncing ball, important one. Hurd couldn't quite get a handle on it. Cockatoo Collins back to Hurd. Hurd kicks the ball wide, hoping for Lloyd to run onto it. Dick Voss with him. Again, an irregular bounce. Tackle was a fair one, but Brian Sheehan right there and saying that Danny Dick Voss didn't have a chance to get rid of it, and it's going to be a bounce. And Essendon again played this situation where they have nobody really forward of the goal, though Lucas now starting to drop back. Remember that goal that Hurd kicked in the second term.
5 points, the margin for Brisbane. Alessio down to James Hurd. Can't get the kick clear. Tries to get the hand pass wide. Fletcher tackled by Hardwick was a good one. Leach tackled by Cockatoo Collins. Still the ball there for Essendon. Out towards O'Donnell. He bashes it for Blumfield. Through comes Clark. He's a little awkward. Gets the handball away. It's still there for Essendon at half forward. Now it's kicked back close to the wing. Harvey went for the man and not the ball. McRae gathers. Kicks towards full forward. Fletcher. Well done by Barnard. Very, very strong play. Run down by Leppitsch. Handball away. Kicked away by O'Donnell. Gowers and Doolan. Gowers does well. Gets his left foot to it. Oh, beautiful tap through by Leppitsch. Now Darryl White to full forward. It's punched away. The race is on back to the goal line. Wallace overruns it. Lynch is there for the Bears. Alistair Lynch. He has manufactured a goal for the Bears. A very important kick by Alistair Lynch in the context of this game. He's kicked 3 and he gives the Bears an advantage close to three-quarter time of 11 points.
And I wonder if we'll see this fantastic knock-on by Justin Leppitsch. You have a look at this for awareness. Just knocks it in the path of Darryl White. I don't know if Darryl White exactly sure what he was doing, but basically it was a flurry in front of the goal square there. Probably had to get the ball through Essendon, and then Lynch thought his way through. Great goal.
Seen so many great passages of play tonight. 11-9 to 10-4. That was one of them. So now Brisbane again on top. Clark taken out of it at the centre by Alessio. Voss has had his hand on the ball quite a bit in this term. Blumfield well done to Buick. Buick, Calthorpe decides to boot it out of the air. Chance now for the Bombers. Champion, a great mark again. And quickly on, pushes the ball wide to the running Lappin. Lappin's usually a racehorse, goes away. Lucas in pursuit. Lappin kicks the ball to half forward. Chris Scott got a little shove from Young. And no free kick. Boundary throw-in. 11 goals, 9 to 10-4. Deep in the third quarter. It's been an outstanding term of footy. We had a very good first half, but the game has risen in its standard since then. Real finals football, to use a cliche, I guess. But we're seeing a wonderful contest here tonight. Voss out of the centre now. Back to full forward. Hurd up high. Barnard trying to get it over the top. White trying to improvise. Barnard, who often bounces after running about 2 strides and then boots the ball to centre wing.
Oh, great leap and mark taken by Blumfield. There's a minute left, so a chance for Essendon to score. He's kicked towards half forward. The mark is taken by Lloyd, and that could be 50 metres, is it? No, against Dick Voss.
Robbo, you got 50 metres on your brain.
Well, if the player takes the mark, and by standing up he's got a chance to play on and he gets tripped. Oh, great mark by Mercury. Magnificent mark. I'd like your opinion on that. If he's prepared to stand up after taking the mark and Dick Voss trips him, why wouldn't it be 50 metres?
Could have been 50, I don't disagree with you, but there we see what Mercury does so well. The third up leaping marking contest close to goal. He gets so many of his goals in this kind of situation.
Yet to kick a goal in the game. Very important, this one. And he's missed. He just gets it in for a behind. So an anticlimax there. Mark Mercury's terrific mark results in just 1 behind.
It's tough to get shots at goal in this game. Those 3 set shots that Essendon missed in this quarter have been pretty costly.
Kick in has been marked by Clark.
Deep in this third quarter. At half-back. Kicks it as far as he can to centre wing. Dion Scott. Hurd now in defence. He's been up and back. And the siren sounds. That's one of the best quarters of football we've seen for the year. Had everything. Brisbane took the honours. They kicked 5 goals to 2. And quite interestingly, we've seen Brisbane get 9 of their 11 at one end, and Essendon got 6 at the left-hand end and just 4 with 2 goes at the right-hand end. So 15 of the 21 goals have been kicked to the left of screen.
And certainly if there's any bruise, it's about a 1-point bruise. It's sort of very mild. The flags are just favouring that end slightly, but it's nothing to do with the wind. But it's funny how in games of football a lot of the scoring's done at one end. But I just think the Bears are just running the game out just a little bit stronger. I mean, I think John Northey has interchanged his midfielders fairly well, and I just thought as the quarter went on, they just looked to have a little bit more run in their legs around that part of the ground.
So the scores at three-quarter time here, 11 goals 9 to 10 goals 5, a fantastic third quarter, and what a goal by Alistair Lynch, and what play by Justin Leppitsch on the way through.
Gowers does well, gets his left foot to it. Oh, beautiful tap through by Leppitsch. Now Darryl White to full forward. It's punched away. The race is on back to the goal line. Wallace overruns it. Lynch is there for the Bears. Alistair Lynch, who has manufactured a goal for the Bears.
There could be no tomorrow for the loser. Certainly in Essendon's case, they'd be shaky tonight if they lost. Mercury out of the centre, goes to full forward. Fletcher's up at full forward. Champion with him, he's had a terrific game. Gowers belts it out of play. Boundary throw in.
And Dustin Fletcher started the game, or started this quarter virtually as full forward, as he has done in recent weeks quite regularly.
Wanting a goal or two from that big man. Somerville lays it down. Fletcher, champion tapped it well. Gave it up. Cockatoo to get his foot through it. It's a behind. Oh, danger there. Trying to force it through from behind the Bears, and Essendon onto it. But just the minor score. So 10-6 to 11-9. Lappin was going to go very short. Decided against it. Now pushes the ball cleverly to Fletcher in the end. Fletcher draws his man, goes to Kennedy.
Kennedy from right half back. Kicks it past the wing, but the mark has been taken by Hardwick. You wonder whether rush behinds like that are going to be critical in the wash-up. Hardwick from just behind the wing, gets past and then kicks towards half forward. Good mark, excellent mark. Big man, big presence, and a top effort there by Clark. His kick is ordinary, but fortunately for the Bears, it slips through to Lappin. Lappin's little hand pass sets it up for Lambert. Lambert's kick is high. Maybe the Bombers from behind. Hardwick couldn't take it. Leppitsch, snapshot by Leppitsch. First goal of the last quarter to the Bears. Justin Leppitsch has now kicked 3. And a body blow for the Bombers. Brisbane 12-9 lead Essendon 10-6.
Well, that ball, Cockatoo Collins, it hit his fingertips, but Lappin still got it. And when it went forward, I mean, Leppitsch hasn't had much of the ball. But these 3 goals are not going to be many more valuable than he's going to ever kick in his career. And it's a good lead to Bears now in the context of what is a fairly low-scoring game.
Just 4 kicks, but 3 goals to Justin Leppitsch. And they'll get the ball away from the centre again. Lambert, they lead 81-66.
Harvey's got hold. Bombers need a steadier now. Harvey pushes to O'Donnell, some experience there. They're 2 30-pluses. In terms of their age. Calthorpe runs away and then goes high. Alessio the target. With him Dick Voss. Fletcher at 48 metres hooks the ball back. Bouncing through. The quick reply. Exactly what Essendon needed in that situation. A quick comeback, and they get it from Fletcher. So that move has paid early dividends. 12-9 to 11-6.
Good off half-back. Calthorpe took the punt, ran down the middle of the ground. Really, it was just a long kick forward in hope. But when you get the ball into your forward line quickly, if one of your forwards can get his hands on the ball, the opposition hasn't had a chance to really set their defensive part of the ground.
It's a great effort by Dustin Fletcher. Very good kick. And he gets his first and Essendon's 11th goal. Very important, these centre breaks. The game has been very, very tight for most of the evening. And with just a 9-point margin in favour of Brisbane, the centre breaks paramount.
We saw Craig Lambert again at the bottom of the pack. He's back on the ball now after having a spell on interchange in the third quarter, and that might be just what he needs to enable him to play the game out a bit strongly.
Up over the top, Somerville. Could be taken away by Blumfield, but Lambert is there. Gets the hand pass in the direction of Scott. Gathered by O'Donnell. Back to Buick. Buick across his left shoulder. In towards centre-half forward. It bounces in that area. Gathered as by Hurd. Lovely hand pass out into the path of Doolan. It's just spills for Cockatoo Collins. Can they get another goal here? Oh, shocking kick there by Shea Cockatoo Collins. I say shocking because he really had a little bit of time and a little bit of space to do perhaps a bit better. Out of bounds on the full, the free kick in the left back pocket. That's Michael McLean with Roger Merritt on the bench for Brisbane. And that football may be lost. No, it comes back now, and Richard Champion will take the free kick for Brisbane. 12-9 to 11-6, 9 points in favour of Brisbane early in the last quarter.
Champion runs away. Ball doesn't sit for him all that well. Gets some distance. Good kick wide. Lynch onto it. Here's a real play now. Kennedy running. Lynch may pop it on for him. He does. Kennedy's got to work. Wants a good bounce. Hurd with him. They're both pretty tight. Kennedy works it forward. So a good result in the end when you consider the Champion kicked the ball from the back pocket. They've got the ball to half forward right and a long way from Essendon's goal.
Yeah, he took the punt, Champion. He went to open field, but he saw that Tristan Lynch was making the ground, so it was really a good option.
He's had an excellent game, Champion. A goal kicked on him in this last quarter by Fletcher, but a very good match. Free kick to Clark over the shoulder. The advantage given to Ashcroft. Ashcroft away, centering ball, attacking at Lynch. Can't afford to give this up though because he's conceded a lot of ground. Wallace rides the bump, so Lynch has not done well here. As O'Donnell comes away, measures a kick to Lloyd. Well done, Gowers. Belts the ball away. Lambert after it, can't get a handle on it. Fletcher took it off Hurd. Then Gowers, McCurry got a high tackle, no free kick. Hurd got legged inadvertently, no free kick, and it's going to be a bounce.
How can you be legged inadvertently?
Well, he's tried to jump over the top of him, and the bloke's, I think, put his arm up to try and tackle in some way, and he's legged
Very
him.
stiff. He never got the free kick there, James Hurd.
Must be an easy one, Robbo. Your call.
Somerville to do the ruck work and gets his right fist to it. Kennedy just able to hold it up. Matthew Lloyd in the picture. Gets a bit of a encouragement pat on the head from one of his teammates, and umpire Brian Sheehan to bounce. The play about 75 metres from Essendon's goal. Somerville again, but he taps it to the advantage of Brisbane. They had 3-1 there. Blumfield's tackle on Voss, and the kick goes over. Right on centre wing, down in front of the commentary box here. Brisbane 12-9, lead Essendon 11-6. A 9-point margin in favour of the Bears. All to play for both sides. Somerville down to the front. Voss shrugs the Blumfield tackle and then gets the kick away. It'll land about 50 metres from the Bears' goal. Harvey up high. Couldn't take the mark. Tries to tap it clear, and he does. Out of bounds, and a free kick. Well, amazing that you pick one out. They've done it just so much tonight, and Harvey's going to be penalised. I wonder whether it was out of bounds deliberate or maybe deemed as a throw, but it's with Darryl White. He's 50 metres from goal. He'll put it into the square. He sets it up for a big fly from behind Wallace. Kicked there by Leppitsch. 4 goals to Justin Leppitsch. Well, he's as excited as the Bears fans, Justin Leppitsch. He's only had 5 kicks, but 4 goals out of 13 gives the Bears a 15-point margin.
If the game's about finishing, I suppose there'll be some controversy whether that was out of bounds on the full, whether a deliberate out of bounds, I should say, but enabled the Bears to get the free kick, get it forward. He's an opportunist, Leppitsch. When he has a chance, he normally finishes.
15-point margin. Essendon again need the next goal. Buick overran it. Fletcher, handball. Hart couldn't quite. Has another go. Rides the tackle. It was high. He'll get a free kick. Ola Renshaw hard at Shaun Hart.
I think after that goal was kicked, Craig Lambert headed for the interchange bench. Yet again, maybe just a little injury.
Been out for a while with that ankle. Oh, Champion's been a star to Chris Scott. That's a superb bit of footy. Short to full forward. Good fly at the back, and the take by Wallace. Who, after a very shaky start, he's done a couple of good things. To Harvey. Wide to Barnard. Great pressure to Harvey. They've done this all night, Essendon. Harvey hugging the line. Champion couldn't quite get a hand to it. Mercury, Doolan, Champion again. He's having a big match. And you can feel the Bears lifting, and Essendon are in trouble. They trail by 15 points. Remember that Brisbane has won 15 out of the last quarters this year out of 22, so they've got a fantastic finishing record. And at the moment, they've got a sense. Fletcher back, Scott to full forward, to Dion Scott. And a goal here would make it extremely difficult for the Bombers to get back.
Yeah, Dion Scott, very good in the first quarter, pretty quiet second and third, but he's come back now and started to just provide that big target at centre-half forward. Yes, and a very important shot, as you well said, Bruce.
45 metres out, directly in front, and he's kicked it truly. And the Bears have now taken a grip on the match. Scott's got 3, and suddenly Brisbane are away. They lead by 3.5 goals.
And again, I think all over the field, they're just looking to be running a bit harder. Champion, our defence has been magnificent all night. He's held Essendon up, and continues to do well. But I think the Bears midfield, it just looks like it's finished in the game that little bit stronger.
Those missed shots of Essendon in the third quarter come back a bit, don't they? They're from about that position.
So the bounce back at the centre. Clark, he's been just tireless in the ruck. Buick, dispossessed, goes after it again. Can't break away. The football with Shaun Hart underneath that pack of 3 or 4 players. And the umpire will bounce once again. It's between centre and centre-half forward, favouring Brisbane. Shaun Hart, he's a tough nut.
He's got some blood on his knee, Robbo. He's going to have to go off.
So just for a few seconds, play held up.
And interesting, James Hird, as Essendon so often do when they're in trouble, pushed him into the centre bounce. So this time Matthew Kennedy has gone with him. And I don't think you'll find that Kennedy will leave Hird's side for almost the duration of the game, no matter where Hird goes.
McLean onto the ground for Brisbane. Takes his place, so the umpire will restart play. About 15 metres forward of the centre circle for Brisbane. They lead 14-9 to 11-6. We've got 13.5 minutes left. Still plenty of time for Essendon. James Hird runs away. Have another bounce. Have a go at the goals, James. It goes to the back. Touched by Gowers on the way through. Great kick by Hird, but just to behind. The Bombers badly needed a goal. Could have been a bit of momentum for them here. It was going to go through, I think. Gowers just got his left hand to it. The kick in has been marked by Clark.
At half-back, quickly on. Good kick to Kennedy. So precise, the kick. Kennedy stretched and took it. What a wonderful kick by Hird a moment ago. Kennedy's high ball. Dion Scott front spot. Harvey at the back. Wanganeen. Little handball to himself. McRae. Back to Ashcroft in his 150th match. Steadies. Goes to half forward. Ackermanis worked out of it by Calthorpe. Boundary throw in. Ackermanis unhappy, but umpire right there. Calthorpe just giving him a little shove. Working him underneath. Essendon cannot afford Brisbane to get a goal from this attack. They trail 11-7 to 14 goals 9. Boundary throw in. Taken by White. Fletcher goes short. Ricochets off Lynch. Has a second go. In the pocket. Tries to build it back. And out of play. Well, what would you have done, Lee? Would you had a shot of your Fletcher 40 metres out running into goal?
Well, yes, I think I might have, but I don't know about other players. But certainly he set Lynch up, but Lynch wasn't able to control.
Free kick here, sorry, Lee,
the chest
to jump in. It was out on the fall. Now, Lynch missed one early in the game in the first quarter from this angle at the other end. Tried a check side on that occasion. He's going the drop punt way. He's kicked it very, very well. They like it behind. He likes it. It's a goal. 4 goals to Lynch. And the Bears may have broken the Bombers' hearts now.
Yes, a long way back for Essendon. You'll have a look at this free. I didn't quite see what happened in general play. Oh, yes, just a little bit unlucky. Went on to Hardwick's toe out of bounds, but a correct decision according to the interpretations of the game. But it's a cruel out of bounds on the full when it happens in that kind of situation.
Manus was onto it very, very quickly. The Bears go forward from the centre bounce once again. Fletcher's kicked the full forward. It covers the players in that area. Running back quickly was McRae. Did he get his foot to it? He's forced it through for a score. A rush behind, and McRae appeals to the umpire. Nothing happening. Calthorpe and Ackermanis, two of the antagonists.
And hasn't Fletcher played a fantastic first half of this last quarter? Been good all night, but I think he's just really lifted that Bears midfield. 26
possessions to Fletcher. He's been 4th, 3rd and 2nd in the best and fairest here at Brisbane the last 3 years, and they're expecting him to feature quite prominently again this year. He's had another good season. Kick-in has been marked by Wanganeen. He's just outside 50 metres. Essendon need to kick 4 unanswered goals if they're to win this game. Missed there by Olorenshaw, gathered by Lappin. Kick is close to the line. It's got to be out on the full. Free kick to Essendon to be taken by Gavin Wanganeen. He's still deep in the Brisbane Bears half-forward line. Ackermanis having a spell on the bench. Roger Merritt looks as though he may see the game out on the bench. But he's done a job, Roger Merritt. He's kicked 2 goals. Didn't touch the footy all that much, just 2 kicks. But they've been important in the wrap-up. Blumfield, handball. Buick gets past. And then his kick towards half-forward is a beauty. Sets it up there for Mercury. Looking to play on. He's been called to play on now. Mercury hooks the kick to the square. Body work done beautifully by Fletcher, and he's paid the mark from behind Champion. One of Richard Champion's rare mistakes, if you would classify it as that.
And I don't think you would, Robbo. I must say it was a good long kick by Mercury, and Champion was just caught that marginally underneath the ball. It was good play by Fletcher. He leant into Champion so that he couldn't back, and then eventually took the overhead mark.
Fletcher kicks for goal and puts it through for the Bombers. Dustin Fletcher 2 goals. Essendon's 12th. They still trail by 21 points. We've got 11 minutes left in the game.
Well, not an impossibility. Where there's life, there's hope. Still plenty of time to go. But really, they need their good players to get into the game. James, Hurd, Buick. Whenever Buick touches the ball, Essendon look dangerous. Mercury, they're the 3, I think, that have to lift Essendon if they are to have a go at Brisbane in this last part of the game.
2 great kicks there, Lee, weren't they? Buick to Mercury, and Mercury's length to Fletcher.
Yep.
Still a chance. 12-7, 15-10. Just need another one, don't they, the Bombers, within a couple of minutes?
And Hurd and Mercury on the ball into the centre square. The big guns are at the action.
Need to get some momentum, Essendon. Goal by Fletcher, his 2nd in the final quarter. Alessio down to Hurd. Well, holding the footy. He might have felt the first one was a bit high, but they kept going at him. Hart's kick wide. McLean. O'Donnell. Michael McLean has probably only been on the ground for 7 or 8 minutes in its entirety. He was on the ground for about 5 minutes in the 2nd quarter. This is only his 3rd game this season.
And I think Gary had a bit of strife. Was in trouble, yep.
So the Bombers went into this finals match having won 12 out of their last 16 games. A very fine record. They lifted themselves up to 6th. Wanganeen comes away, delivers with the left to centre half-forward. Somerville the target, tries to bring the ball to ground. Lynch has been good to Lappin. She'll kick it to Chris Scott. Scott's after it. Bouncing ball, takes it now. Then delivers on the left. Wants White. Well done by Hardwick to Young, to Doolan. Doolan, who played a lot in defence early. Buick, remember what happened in the 2nd quarter when he was away. A 2nd bounce. Then forced to deliver to centre half forward. Wobbly old kick. Mercury back inboard. Wanganeen, you'd expect he would go. Straightens up, they're still in it with a chance. He's got it. Wanganeen's 2nd goal. And Essendon now do have a realistic chance. They had to get the next one in a couple of minutes, and they've done it.
And again, Buick-Mercury. Yet certain players, if they touch the ball, you know their team's going to be doing well. It just seems that they picked the right option, set the play up correctly. Same with Wanganeen. Second goal, playing essentially as a defender, but it's pushed forward. Again, shows that great speed and composure to finish.
9 3/4 minutes left. 15 points the margin. Centre bounce. Who can break clear? Mercury gets it to Hurt, throwing the ball. Against Mark Mercury. O'Donnell is off the ground. He looked in all sorts of trouble. The kick is wide. Shaun Hart has the footy for the Bears. Short kick. No mark. The ball spills for Calthorpe. Can he keep it in? Down the line he goes, and the umpire will call for a boundary throw-in. Neil Curley, Gary O'Donnell.
No, it was Dipper here, Robbo. He's gone up into the rooms. Looks like he's got a very bad corky.
Gee, that's bad luck for the Bombers. O'Donnell out of action. Belted away by Somerville. Fletcher, hip and shoulder by Lloyd, and out of play. A couple of times in this last quarter, Lees, we look at Merritt and Lambert. Brisbane playing short, going into attack, not working. Hard a moment ago. Belted away from Leppitsch. 15 points the margin. Somerville, Hardwick's handball over the top to Hurd. Hurd just gives it back to Hardwick. Hardwick concedes some ground. Doolan just waiting. Mercury, Essendon keeping their cool. 13-7, 15-10. Mercury, good kick to the centre. A lovely mark by Lloyd. Lloyd quickly on. High ball. What a big play this is. Fletcher works his man underneath it. Champion. Lynch needs the boundary line. Kicks it cleverly. Rolling out. Couldn't play that deliberately, even though it was. And it'll be a boundary throw-in.
I mentioned before, James Hurd on the ball, but Matthew Kennedy hasn't gone with him, which is surprising. I would think Kennedy should be sitting on Hurd and keep the thing tight, seeing the Bears are in front.
Alessio, Barnard back to Alessio. Alessio again. Gowers and Voss double tackle him. And again a bounce. So the Bombers deep in attack inside 50. They trail 13-7 to 15-10.
Well done, Brian Sheen, to take control there. Just Andrew Gowers and Steve Alessio. 8.5 minutes left. It is 15 points the margin. Michael McLean back on the bench with Lambert and Merritt. Three very experienced campaigners. Taken away by Somerville. Couldn't get the kick away. Hurd dispossessed by Kennedy. Umpire calls play on. Blumfield, well done. Out to Mercury. Mercury's kicked to full forward. It'll bounce through for a goal. Essendon are a chance. Mercury kicks his first goal with 8 minutes left in the game. And the margin is just 9 points.
Amazing turnaround, hasn't it? The Bears just looked like they had control of the game just, what, maybe 5-10 minutes ago, but Essendon have kept working again. Hurt's gone onto the ball and started to get a bit of it. Mercury started to get to the ball. Buick's in the play. As soon as those players are involved in the game, Essendon look their most dangerous.
So after trailing by over 4 goals, only a couple of minutes ago, the Bombers have kicked 2 quick ones. It was 27 points. Now the Bears get clear again. Fletcher's kick towards full forward. Very important mark here. Knocked away by Wallace. Cockatoo Collins quite prepared to play it in front of himself. He's still there, 1-on-2. Akamanis gets the handball away. Well done. Back to Fletcher from 50 metres. Fletcher goes to the square. It covers the players and bounces through for one behind. 10 points the margin. 101 to 91. Calthorpe to Buick. O'Donnell on the bench for the Bombers. It's a tight finish. Buick to kick in to the near side. Good kick too. Finds Hurd. He's got a player in support. Wonderful vision. He knew the player was there. It was Denham. Denham to centre half forward.
Alessio the target. Oh, that's a good take. Dick Fox not paid. Blumfield's handball. Back. Somerville looking for a man. Taken by Olorenshaw. Denham squares it. Wanganeen's been important. Hasn't had a lot of possessions, but what he's done has been good. Was going to go back to Calthorpe. Decided against it. Goes to full forward. It's another bouncing goal. It is unbelievable. Wanganeen has kicked his 3rd second-half goal, and Essendon has come from 27 points down to be just 4 points in arrears. And hasn't Fletcher's bodywork in the goal square been important in this last quarter?
Shepherded 2 goals through, basically, and Wanganeen backed his pace. Again, 3rd goal for the game. And as you said, Fletcher, the same as the earlier one with Mercury, was able to shepherd the ball through when it bounced in front of the goal square.
Some positional changes being made. Very important here now. Again, Fletcher breaks away. His kick was ineffective. High in the air. Clark hasn't gone far enough. Now Voss. Buick nearly chopped it off. Fletcher there for Brisbane. He's kicked towards full forward. It bounces awkwardly. Cockatoo, Collins and Leppitsch. He's got him. The ball spills for Hardwick. Handball over the top, important. Olorenshaw out wide. Get rid of it quickly. Mark Harvey does, but not quite far enough. Voss is there. Short kick by Voss to the forward pocket. Bounces awkwardly again for Lynch and Wallace. Wallace back close to the line. Handball over the top. Doolan. Gathered by Calthorpe. Has it gone out of bounds in that forward pocket where Lynch and Wallace went for it? It has, and it will come back. We have got 6.5 minutes left. It is a 4-point margin in favour of Brisbane, and there is anxiety on the faces of everyone here at the Gabba.
Bears forwards having trouble winning the one-on-one contest in the last quarter. Somerville getting a tap away, trying to go through Cockatoo Collins. Harvey puts a tackle on, and again a bounce. Fletcher has knocked up winning the ball out of the centre square. Brisbane keep going forward. It's had 30 possessions, and yet their forwards who are leading to short passes are having the ball belted away from them. 15-11, 15-7. Again, the Bombers. Buick, Harvey. Held up, Denham in there. And so is Hart, and it's a bounce. 4-point margin. There won't be any draw here. Will be extra time if it's all tied up. Somerville, Hurd lifting. Again looks for Denham as he did a moment ago. Denham doesn't quite get a hand on it. Back to Hurd. Beautifully played Hurd. Alessio goes on. The Bombers running hard. Hardwick out wide. Calthorpe taking a long time to get hold of it. Does it now quickly to Alessio. Alessio's got it. Forward of centre. Bluntfield's in the square. Fletcher's now in the square, running into that position. Alessio's taking his time, won't be rushed. Goes short. McCurry's got it.
It couldn't be in better hands, really, could it?
No, well, I think Essendon on this 50-metre line, I think McCurry's as good a player as they've got to have a shot at it.
He kicked the goal last week, remember, that won the game on the run from 50. McCurry, 52 metres out, leans back, he's missed, as he did in the third quarter tonight. Not being too hard on him because he's one of the great goal kickers in terms of his consistency. 15-11 to 15-8. Thrilling match at the Gabba to start what should be a fantastic weekend of finals here in 4 states.
5 minutes left. McRae with the football for the Bears. Still in his defensive 50. Kicks it high in towards the middle. Player on his own is Voss. Barry Young just giving him a little bit of latitude. And Michael Voss able to gather just to try and steady the Bears down. They led by 27 points at one stage in this last quarter. The kick is wide. It's been taken by Fletcher. Possession number 31. Kick towards full forward. Cockatoo Collins makes a good contest of it. The ball there for Kennedy. Lambert tackled. Cockatoo Collins had hit him in the face. Denham runs away. Can't get the kick away. Still Shaun Denham. Now Barry Young gets a kick away. But it only goes as far as Chris Scott. Scott for the Bears. Kicks it back to within scoring distance. It's not a mark. The ball there for Olorenshaw. Tackle didn't have it. Umpire swallowed the whistle. Now Olorenshaw once again. Kicks it wide. Vacant area at half-back. Alessio. Can he gather? No, he can't. I wish Jason Ackermanis, he looked as though he's going to gather it. But remember, at this stage, he's on the bench.
And Essendon's defensive 50 has just been fantastic, isn't it, for the last 5 or 10 minutes? It's like a brick wall. The Bears are getting it that far, but it keeps bouncing back.
Out of the air, McCurry. Fletcher again, what a last quarter he's playing. Lambert. Hart, who is a left footer, remember. Wide. Scott, smothered by McCurry. Olorenshaw, McCurry, the class player so important. Wanganeen could put them in front. He hasn't missed all night. Goes for it, and he misses that one. 3 second-half goals to Wanganeen, and they edge closer. 15-9 to 15-11.
3 minutes left.
I hope you're enjoying the telecast on the 7 network around Australia of this second qualifying final, and Buick cuts off a champion lead, and again the pressure's on.
Hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of problems this year, Buick, in that area, so again a boundary throw in. Essendon deep in attack with momentum. They trail by 2 points. They trail by 27 at one stage in the last quarter.
45 metres from their goal. And they get a gather here. Wanganeen goes back. Young's kick towards full forward. It bounces awkwardly once again. Dick Voss gets his left foot to it, but only as far as Lloyd. Lloyd might gather. Still Matthew Lloyd with the football in front of himself. Can gather, kicks with the left foot towards centre-half forward, but it's taken by Champion. He plays on quickly. Player on his own out wide is Tristan Lynch. He can run the length of the ground. He goes short. Little left foot kick is all right. It's taken by McRae. If he moves it quickly, they're all one-on-one back there on the goal line, but he's going to hold it up. 2.5 minutes left. McRae with the football for Brisbane. 2 points in favour of the Bears.
I think you'd be going long from this situation. Whenever they've kicked to the lead in this point of the game, the Essendon defence have cut it off. So I think you might as well go to the goal square and make the ball play from there.
Well, he's taking plenty of time. Down close to 2 minutes. And he does kick long. It'll land close to the square. Oh, up goes Dion Scott. Couldn't take the mark. Chance here for Darryl White. He's got the football. Barry Young, the tackler. Wallace goes down. A great tackle by Dion Scott. Locks it up. 2 points in favour of Brisbane. Under 2 minutes left. The ball only 20 metres from the Bears' goal.
I think every time there's a game of football being played, every player tries his hardest. What you're seeing now is that extra 10 or 20% above that.
Hart gets it. Hooks it back high. Out of bounds on the fall. So not the result Brisbane wanted there. Shaun Hart banging it high. 15-9 to 15-11. Been playing over 30 minutes in this last quarter. There's been plenty of time on Denham to bring it back in. What a brave comeback by the Bombers. Kick to centre wing. High leap, not paid to Blumfield. And again, Voss with Brisbane just holding the ball up. So the seconds are ticking away. I think it's fair to say next goal wins. 15-11 to 5-9. Centre wing, Lappin, McRae. McRae's been important, a bounce. He could almost reach the goal square. Again goes short. Lynch can't take it. White, can he do something? Back, McRae bangs, and he kicks out of bounds on the fall. So Essendon still with an opportunity. They have a chance here.
Under a minute now, Bruce, left in the game.
You could just see the pressure gets to McRae then. He had more time than he thought. He was being able to settle and get himself balanced, but brought it onto his boot quickly. Turns the ball over.
Barry Young to take it away from the back pocket. And he takes a risk, kicks it into a situation where it can be won by either side, and it's won by the Bears. Lambert pumps it back to within scoring distance. It goes to the back. The race on now. Cockatoo Collins must gather. Clean possession important. It's a good kick. It's taken out here by Mercury, not paid. Taken away by Denham. They must get 2 clean possessions. Denham's kick is good. It's taken down here by Olorenshaw. Half a minute left. Olorenshaw. There's a player on his own at half forward, and it's been marked. This is Matthew Lloyd. Cover yourself in glory, son. He kicks to the square. They get back. No mark. Wanganeen! He's hit the post. It's a point the difference. And we've got 17 seconds left. This is the most unbelievable climax to a game of footy we've seen for many, many years. Many, many years.
No extra time, remember. There can be no draw here. I mean, there will be extra time. There can be no draw. So a point the margin. Clark the target. Did he mark it? No, it's out of play. 15-11 to 15-10. Remember, if the Bombers lose and either Geelong or Hawthorn are successful, they're out of the finals. Barnard pushes forward. Hart. The Bears have won. It was a classic. Let's go down with the big tipper with Alistair Lynch.
Thanks very much, Bruce. Well, firstly, 150 games, your first final, and you had to fight to the end.
Oh, great win. I mean, Essendon a good side, as they showed tonight. Can't give them a minute. 1 point, we'll take that.
When you kicked the last goal over there, you looked at the crowd and just said, "Pump us up, please."
Oh, well, I'm missing them dead in front, so you're kicking from the boundary line, you need a bit of help.
What sort of week has it been for everybody? I mean, it's a big build-up for this game.
It's been great. It's been building up for a couple of weeks because of the first final in Brisbane, so it's a great achievement for footy in Queensland, and I suppose the national competition is well and truly alive.
Is it all what you think about finals? Is it the dreams you've been thinking about over the years?
Oh yeah, that's right. I've waited 9 years for this, and you know, it's great to get the first win. Now we've got another few weeks to go.
It's a real team effort tonight. I mean, on and off the bench all night.
It is, that's right. I mean, we don't really rely on one forward or one bloke in the centre. We've got a real good spread, good bunch of young blokes with a splash of experience throughout, so great win.
Alistair, it hasn't hit you yet, but listen to that crowd. Go and enjoy it.
No, sensational. Thanks,
well
mate.
done, buddy.
Thanks,
Alistair Lynch. Great scenes here. What a game, Lee. It was a classic in the end. What a second half. 15-11 to 15-10.
I mean, the Bears got clear early in that last quarter. About midway through the last quarter, they probably got almost 5 goals in front, and they just looked like going away with it. But Essendon's just their last 10 minutes of the game was just fantastic. And, well, the Bears 1-point margin. There's no rhyme or reason or logic to 1-point wins. You just take them, and there's no percentage, and go on next week.
And Lee, if one of the top 2 teams is beaten, it'll have a big effect on this. It means that Brisbane goes straight to the preliminary final, and it means that Essendon is out. They must now hope that both Sydney and North Melbourne win. If not, if there is an upset in one of those 2 games, they will be out of the finals, and Brisbane will go through to the preliminary final.
Yeah, a lot of permutations can happen over the next 3 games, can't they? But the Bears, yes, if they could happen to get a home game here as a preliminary final, that probably would be difficult for them. North Melbourne and Sydney would both have to get beaten. But nevertheless, as I say, if you play up here in the daytime and it's warm and sunny, it's going to be tough for any visiting team.
I think their worst scenario now is a home final here next weekend. They'll be the highest loser if they don't go, the highest win if they don't go through to the preliminary final. So their worst scenario is a home final here, and their best scenario is a preliminary final. It's really set them up to challenge now for the premiership.
Yes, 1 point. It's a little margin, but it means a lot in the context of the season, doesn't it?
It does. And what a game and a match to set up this final series. And there's the Bomber Rooms. Gee, Essendon tonight. They've got so many fans right around this country, and even though they've lost tonight, they have gone down in the bravest possible fashion. It's been a wonderful performance by that club. They were down and out, 27 points behind in the last quarter.
They had a couple of chances. I mean, it's a pity that you have to sort of single out a couple, but Wanganeen maybe his second last shot. Not the last one, but when he ran in and missed and missed off to the right.
The whole thing's a game of inches. His last shot hits the post. If it goes 3 inches to the left, goes through for a goal, and Essendon are through. So you've got to take your opportunities. It's a tight game, and two good teams that really had a go at it.
So the final scores here in the second qualifying final. Brisbane defeated Essendon by 1 point, 15-11 to 15-10, and boy, didn't this bring a smile to John Northey's face.